Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike. Yeah. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike.
All right, good morning and welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It is Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com, the 1620 The Zone radio network. I'm Connor Happer alongside Mike Schaefer, Joey Warcola. Hi, guys.
Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Connor. And good morning, Omaha.
Good morning, Joey. Actually, we're not even going to get to Connor. Great morning, Joey. What a day Joey is having.
Joey.
His last, I don't know, it's like 12 to 14 hours have been absolutely outstanding.
His last 6 to 8 weeks have been filled with a pile of stress and anticipation for this day.
And now the cloud has lifted.
It is.
It is nothing but sunshine for Joey Warcola.
No jury duty.
There will certainly not be rain for Joey.
No.
That was the whole story. Am I going to have to be a foreman on Wednesday, July 15th?
We told you if you were going to leave our show, you had to be the foreman. That was
and
the
I
rule.
was going to say, Jim Polon's going to say no.
Jim Polon would not have gotten to make that decision.
I would have loved you to regale your stories of the courtroom to us, but dang it.
I think the city realized that there's another soccer game at 2:00 today on Telemundo, and yours truly has to watch it for the excitement, the enjoyment, etc.
Joe, I think you screwed me up because I went to watch the 96 Midsummer Classic last night, and the channel was Fox, and I was wondering why it wasn't giving me a Telemundo option on the side as well. You know, when you click on it on YouTube TV and it gives you all the options of where to watch it. There was no option that said Telemundo. That was just my brain is stuck on World Cup time.
Can you imagine the Telemundo call of that Vargas home run? So I assume you were watching when he hit that.
I was. I watched literally the whole thing.
They're like chatting with Pete Crow Armstrong as that's happening. Miguel Vargas for the White Sox hits a tank of a home run to left field, and Pete Crow Armstrong. Wow.
Yeah, it was like, great. That's good.
Yeah.
I love the mic'd up stuff during the All Star game. In fact, you know what? I love the All Star game as as I talked about yesterday. I love all the warm ups and the national anthem and the colors and all those different things. And then they did some great stuff last night because it was the 250th birthday of America when as they were sort of going on throughout the game. They did a lot of stuff. They did the whole Sandlot thing, which was great. Did you see that part? The fireworks and the
Did I see the Sandlot stuff like in the seventh inning? Yeah. No, I was fortunate where I missed all of the runs other than the Miguel Vargas home run, and then came into the game around the fifth inning and watched it from about there on. So the parade of just sort of relievers and everything else. There wasn't like a ton of activity, but the pomp and circumstance, I guess, if you would, around the
that's what I'm saying.
The event was great. Philadelphia was a great host of it.
That's why I love the All-Star game.
Yeah. It is the only version of an All-Star game that I remotely watch with interest. Like the NBA one might go on just to have something on in the background.
It's
and then
the best
sort of
one.
Make fun of the fact that it might be 192 to 178 at the end of it. Or
that's no longer a thing because they kept changing the format to prevent something like that.
Where are we at right now? Are we on Elam ending on that still?
No. So no. They've been doing like 3 different teams or something. They did like a Team USA, Team World, and then a rookie team or something.
Right.
How do you play 3 teams at once?
I will say when they did the rookies versus the second year guys, that sort of interests me from a it's at least unique enough.
But that's not the All-Star game. That's
that's like a side.
That's the Rising Stars.
Side quest.
That's the Rising Stars challenge.
Right. Like that interests me in terms of their whole All-Star festivities. But the actual game has been I feel like a long time since
The
anyone's
last time,
really needed to care.
the last time I honestly tuned into the whole action was when Tatum was just scoring a lot of points and won the All Star MVP. Just as a Celtics fan, I just love watching him just actually try to get something.
Well, it's just hard.
Does Giannis have any All-Star games MVP?
Oh my goodness!
I mean, he was the team captain a couple times when they were doing Team Giannis, right?
yeah. There was a couple Team Giannis versus Team LeBron, or Team LeBron versus Team Kevin Durant.
He had his own team.
Yeah, I
Don't trust AI.
This claims he won it in 2021, but I will see if I can find other verification. There it is, 2021. Jason Tatum won it in 2023.
Wow.
He was
Yes, he
on
did.
Team Giannis. Incredible.
Anyway, the basketball All-Star game sucks, as we know.
And the football, the
Football.
Pro Bowl is a snooze fest.
Absolutely terrible.
It's now
The 7 on
flag
7
football.
is like, the flag football aspect of it is bad. It's really bad.
This
So,
whole
To the right, Connor. You're almost there.
Yeah.
There you
They're
go.
terrible.
thank you. Jeez, the screen is so far away from my face now that I had to read.
no.
Did
Are you
someone,
gonna have to get
did someone move
readers?
the screen?
No, I could see it fine. It just has to like resize everything up because of the distance and how like
you
you
should
should be.
utilize that whole wall for you. You just like put some kind of screen up there that
With
you
more
can just-
drops.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going to
Just
have
have a
something
touch
called
screen.
the wall, utilize the
Drop.
wall.
Drop. That'd be awesome if I could touch the wall and then the wall would say
Jason
Or they
Green.
give you a
That would
little
be great.
laser pointer that you can point and you hit like a very specific thing. And it
"Up,
plays.
it's time to point at the wall." That'd be great.
Good
But
luck with that, Dan.
the MLB All Star Game is great. Nobody does pageantry better, and it's a baseball game because it's hard to fake a real baseball game.
Yeah.
It's hard to fake a baseball game in general, and so they kind of have to play a certain amount of hard, and then they make fun out of it as well, and they interview the players during the game, which I think is awesome. It's usually terrible and nonsensical during whatever it is, whether it be a playoff game or whenever they're doing a big national broadcast. But during their All-Star game, it's great. They'll have guys talking to each other. They had their big I throw really hard summit featuring Jacob Bizarowski and Justin Verlander and other guys who throw hard or who used to throw hard, I suppose. And, guys sort of switching off and talking to each other. But I love the humility in it. They were talking to Bryce Harper when he was at bat once and he was facing your boy, Cade Smith. And he was like, this guy's filthy. I don't think that anything's really going to happen here. And he struck out on that nasty splitter. And he was like, yeah, guys, that's gross. I'm going back to the dugout. See you later.
I can't remember if it's Cade Smith's first All-Star game, but it won't be his last. That guy's Cleveland's ability to just have like an absolute stud at the end of the bullpen for the last decade has been tremendous.
Definitely true.
And that guy came out like he would tell you he's like just a guy who liked playing baseball out of Canada. And he just kept getting pushed up the ranks, and suddenly he's on the opening day roster, and he's like, well, I might as well just
strike everyone
do
out.
what I can to stay here. And suddenly he's one of the best closers in baseball.
Debo says, shout out to the Four Nations, best All-Star game out there.
Okay, that's legit.
Does that count as an All-Star game?
I don't know if I count it.
The
because
hockey
it's-
All-Star game is a sham, right?
the actual All-Star game.
yeah, like the
wasn't-
17 to 12 game.
But Four Nations was really, really fun.
That doesn't count.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't think that counts.
I look, I'm not gonna argue against that. It's not the same setup as anything else.
Of course not.
But I am gonna say it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. It's definitely better than the baseball
Again,
game.
You can get me into hockey and you can get me into soccer when you're just like, all right, this is your country playing
Yep.
here.
Time to play the country that you
And they're
hate.
generally not expected to win, so I'm a lot more invested in it than when the United States basketball team rolls out there and I'm like, I don't care about this at all.
U.S. versus the world. And then there's the time of the season where it happens too, like the NBA All-Star game. There's just you're not going to watch it partly because there's nothing there's other stuff to watch that weekend, like college basketball, which is a better sport in general. But today or yesterday in baseball, there's literally nothing. It's the only
Yeah,
thing.
it is a slow days.
So does that make tonight the ESPYs? I guess it does. Doesn't
I think. Let me take a look.
This
I
is
think
Joey
it's
should
usually.
be on his schedule related information.
Well, I don't care about the ESPYs, but I think it's usually a Thursday kind
the
of a deal.
ESPYs are tonight.
Oh, they are. I did not know that.
They are hosted by Oh, let's see.
Michael Severe.
No.
Oh, you want to do some of these? This could be fun.
Okay, yeah.
Some of the nominees.
Yeah, let's do this.
I am curious to see who's hosting the awards tonight.
It's some comedian or actor. I think he was on SNL.
Oh, Marcel Hernandez
Yeah.
is hosting tonight. That could be funny. He's funny.
I don't know who that is.
He's from SNL.
Okay.
He's on SNL. He's good.
Who's that huge guy?
2026 ESPY Award nominee. Where do we start here? Best team. And the nominees are the Las Vegas Aces, the
Okay.
Los Angeles Dodgers, the Indiana Hoosiers, football team, not basketball team. They sucked. The Carolina Hurricanes, the New York Knicks, the
Oh, I know who's going to win
Texas
this.
Softball Longhorns, the Seattle Seahawks, the Team USA Men's Hockey, and Team USA Men's Hockey.
It's either going to be one of the hockey teams or Indiana.
Yeah, I
Or
would
the
say
Knicks. Or the
it's gotta
Knicks.
be Indiana, right?
it's got to be Indiana. If you're going to do this award and you don't give it to Indiana, just cancel the award.
Best play, golden goal for gold, Olympic women's hockey.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be up there.
Golden goal for gold, Olympic men's hockey.
That's probably your winner.
UConn stuns Duke with Braylon Mullins buzzer-beating 3 in NCAA Men's March Madness.
That's a hell of a challenger.
Oh, man.
There's an even better one
I
after
saw
that.
that video the other day, and it was Bill Raftery just melting in his chair. Incredible stuff. Let's see here. We got OG Anunoby's tip-in
That's
in the
gonna-
NBA Finals.
That's going to win.
It is most certainly not going to win, Joey. It'll be the gold medal thing, or
They're going to choose country.
yeah.
over the
I know
Knicks.
you're worried about the Knicks taking over the world. It's not going to be that.
I know. I think the Knicks have taken over ESPN.
It's not going to be that. Don't worry. If it's that, we will pay up some.
Well,
sort of
I
a bet.
definitely know
Yeah.
who's not going to win this one. It's definitely not going to be Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams game tying touchdown against the Rams.
Great play. These
But
are all great
that did not win the
plays.
game.
Yeah, it's going to be a gold bet.
Yeah, they won the literal gold medal against Canada.
Yeah. Let's see. Best. All right. Let's do best breakthrough athlete.
Ooh, okay.
Macklin Celebrini from the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Okay.
say I don't.
We'll check
know
in
who
with
that
Debo
is.
on the hockey
Yeah,
line on
yeah.
that. Alyssa Liu from figure skating.
Nothing.
All right. Drake May, the quarterback of the New England Patriots.
Possibly could win.
Fernando Mendoza,
That's
quarterback of the Indiana Football Hoosiers
Should win.
/ Oakland Raiders or Las Vegas Raiders now. All right. Best women's athlete. Hillary Knight from hockey. Nelly Corda from golf. Michaela Schifrin from skiing. And Asia Wilson from basketball, the Las Vegas
Asia
Aces.
Wilson will win.
All right. And finally, this is where the Knicks takeover could really
Oh,
hurt
no.
you, Joey.
No, it's not.
All right. Best male athlete. Is it Matthew Stafford?
No.
Is it Shohei Ohtani?
No.
Is it Lionel Messi?
Yes.
No.
Or Jalen Brunson?
Yes.
What?
You don't think Jalen Brunson's going to win
Messi's
this?
won a World Cup. Jalen Brunson did not win a
Okay,
world
but what-
title. He won a
what
USA
is-
title.
What happened
In Canada.
this year?
Well, Messi has a chance to win his second
A
World Cup.
chance, but has he won it?
He hasn't won it yet, but
Who
he's
has won something?
but he scored 7 goals in this World Cup. Did
But
Jalen
nine of
Brunson
them are
score
from
any
the
goals in the
penalty
World Cup?
area. They don't
Joey,
count.
this is where you need to be concerned. He
Yeah,
might win
Jalen
this.
Brunson's going to win that.
He might win this, unfortunately. He will. The
Nah.
Knicks won't win the other play. They won't win the play, but Jalen Brunson might win this.
You'll
It's-
want to turn the channel.
You're
when
going to
this
have
is on.
to. This is at the end of the
You're
show.
not going to watch this, I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
Nah, I'm going to be glued into the World Cup at 2, and then I'm not going to be glued in on anything in the evening.
But
Joey
Crawford,
will actively avoid it.
but Crawford can win an SB tonight. He's nominated for best fighter.
Okay.
Fighting.
When
Speaking of
was
the
his-
buffers,
that fight was last November, right?
I guess so. Does it honor things that happened in 2025?
Well, I'm curious
Or
what they're
those
if
count.
it's just a year from the second week of July.
Mm.
Is that when it was?
It could be. And then another potential Knicks takeover, best championship performance. That at the very least, Jalen
Yeah.
Brunson is going to
Probably
win.
September of last year.
He's also in best NBA player with SGA, Jokic, and Wemby. Best NFL player nominees are Myles Garrett, which I think he's going to win. Drake May, Jackson Smith, and Matthew Stafford.
Debo checking in. He says Celebrini 178 points in 152 total NHL games. That is a breakthrough athlete if I've ever heard one. Nice job.
What's the first name again? Miles?
Macklin.
Hey, Connor, can I interest you in one more category?
Yes.
Best tennis player.
Oh, no.
Carlos Alcaraz.
Yeah.
Elena Rybakina.
Okay.
Arena Sabalenka.
Yeah.
And then your favorite,
sad,
Yannick Sinner.
Give it to Zevra. Give it to
it'll be Sabalenka.
Or give it to the other guy, Alcaraz.
He didn't play this year, though.
I don't care. Give it to
he
him.
didn't play in the 2 latest majors. He was injured for the French Open and Wimbledon.
Yeah, give it to him. He deserves it.
Yannick Sinner had a great redemption story from falling in the first round to winning Wimbledon once again.
Wow.
I'm happy for you, Yannick.
He might win. He might win, and I'll be sad about it. All right. So today on the show, it is Wednesday, by the way. Today, Sam McEwen and Lauren Michelson will join. I think, as far as I know, we're back on our regular guest track for the rest of eternity. So, we'll probably adjust some things when we get closer to football season here, but I think we're on a regular guest track. Vacation time might be winding down for our guests, which is good. So they will join us today. We would like to hear from you all. 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at us at Happen Schaefer, at Connor Happer, at Mike J. Schaefer on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor or Mike or Joey at 1620thezone.com. on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Who's that huge guy?
And we say good morning to our YouTube streamers who have already helped us out dearly this morning, telling us that Mr. Celebrini is on a Crosby/McDavid track.
Whoa.
I am now
Macklin.
Very interested in that boy named Macklin.
I checked the baseball list. No Macklins were drafted. I was like, I wonder if Macklin is like a rising name here.
It does feel like it's coming.
Ran into a guy from high school like a month ago, and he told me his son's name was Macklin, and all I could think of was Jeremy Macklin from
well, you got Jeremy Macklin, you got Burt Macklin.
Okay. Those are your Macklins.
Burt Macklin, FBI. That'd be funny. 20 years after Parks and Rec.
Right, I was going to say, like, everyone's like,
what are you named after?
I want to name my kid after one of Andy Dwyer's
side characters. Yeah. It's pretty good.
Not bad.
Elsewhere today on the show, an addition to Nebraska's running back room. We should throw a parade.
What? They finally did it.
We should all meet. We should all meet at the Grand China Buffet and hang out and celebrate Tyke Hayes.
That actually sounds pretty good.
Being added to the roster. We'll talk about that as we go on throughout the show today. Our dear friend Sam McEwen, who will join us today, he has a thought-provoking question about running backs since 2000 at Nebraska, which I'm excited to hear. Major League Baseball teams are taking our local college baseball players, which is very, very sad.
What?
Mr. Pickle has a prediction. We listened to the Bo audio tape, but are not going to play it on this show.
Yeah, I listened this morning, and I'm not going to play it.
I mean, we would have bleeped out all the bleep words, but it was many bleeps.
Yeah, there's a lot. You're not going to get anything out of it. You're just going to get a lot of bleeps.
That's what would have been funny about it. But
this guy was Nebraska's head coach when they were last successful.
It was weird.
He was a maniac.
It was crazy to listen to for the first time in a long time last night. We'll catch up on the stuff that's going on at Michigan and a variety of other things today. Also, we're going to be free balling. We're going to be turning the page to our next page in Phil Steele magazine, and whatever else we run into today. Glad you're with us. Happy Wednesday. We're back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Our hot and dry stretch continues on Wednesday. Expect sunny skies throughout the day with a light southeast breeze. Hot and muggy in the afternoon with highs in the low 90s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Lanahaw Nurseries.
When others are finishing, we're flourishing. Omaha's best for trees, shrubs, perennials, and summer decor. With the largest inventory in the metro. Homegrown and Nebraska ready. Lanahaw Garden Center, 192nd and West Center.
IBEW Local 22 is hiring. Join a dynamic team offering opportunities in all classifications, low voltage, residential, and commercial. Whether you're an experienced journeyman or have no experience, they'll train you. Enjoy great pay, fully funded medical benefits, and a solid retirement plan. IBEW Local 22 is your gateway to a rewarding career in Omaha. Don't miss the chance to build your future. Call Mike at 402-810-0789. That's 402-810-0789.
You know, the Storm Chasers / 1620 The Zone Night is coming right up, and it's on Friday. I saw the Storm Chasers put out their list of people who are going to be there. It was weird how they didn't have us on the graphic, but here are some of the people. Eric Crouch, Jed Ortmeyer, Antrell Taylor, Brian Dunsing, Kyle Peterson, Allison Holder, Audrey Eckert, and Tom Chattel. We've talked about these people before. They had the list out. Now I see the graphic. And I was a little bit offended that we weren't on the graphic last night. So I think there probably should be a Photoshop done or something.
Yeah, I mean, you just slide in just a couple of pictures of us after Tom Chattel. We don't even have to be the same size as them.
Just get an AI graphic of Connor Happer. I know people can definitely do that.
People have AI. They use it well.
We should ask Marty Cordero if he can do the music festival style banner where they have the giant headliners and we can be in the tiny font at the very
There's
bottom.
so many words on those banners.
I know. I laugh every time I see it because invariably it comes with like either a text from somebody or it's already in the tweet where it's like, hey, which of these 3 days of this festival would you want to attend?
Yeah. It's like actually probably none of them.
I'm usually like, well, can I just see this band this day and that band that day, but not actually leave my house to do it?
This is why we'd be terrible people to go to a music festival.
Yes.
A music festival would be actually the worst place for us, probably. I like music. I don't love going to concerts. I do like music, but I really, really could not see myself at a music festival.
Yeah,
it seems hard for me.
I would not survive it.
People love them and bless them for it. I'm glad it's an outlet for others. It's just definitely, as Joey would say, not for me.
Matthew says on YouTube, he says, what were they thinking? Do they not know that 1620 has more awards than all of those folks? I actually don't know if that's probably true. I don't think that's actually true, but I don't know do you have any awards?
I mean, recently?
No.
Like in radio?
In your field, media.
I mean, a lifetime ago, sure, but
what do you got?
Just random awards from college writing and other things.
Okay.
But
we're counting that. We're putting that in the count.
Nothing within the radio realm. I guess
okay.
I was.
You've only been doing.
I was on the Friday Husker tailgate with Jack Mitchell, and that won some awards.
That counts.
And Storytime with Brendan Stye won some awards.
Yeah.
In the episode submitted, I was on.
I think I won a couple of awards for things that I produced in my time, but certainly not for doing a good radio show.
Now I'm trying to think of what's the singular best award I've ever won.
The one I won a few years ago in college.
Did you win a Marconi?
No, I won an award that it was a story I did. It was the 10-year anniversary of UNO dropping football and wrestling, and I tried interviewing Trev Alberts, and that did not work out. And
you still won an award for it?
Yeah. I interviewed former football players from one of the last teams, but this was like the year where Trev Alberts left UNO to go to Lincoln. The joke was 21. The joke was that I scared Trev Alberts out of Omaha with the story,
and then you scared him out of the state.
That's true.
Scared him down to Texas.
He tried to get back at you by trying to give you jury duty, but it failed.
It did not work.
Every year when we go through there's various local awards. I wonder if anyone, anywhere would ever think about nominating me. And I don't know that will ever happen.
Is this you like putting out there that
I'd love to be nominated? I'd
Okay.
love to be nominated. I am not going to ask to be nominated. I'm not going to ask people to go to bat for me on behalf. But if they would like to nominate me, they should feel free to do so.
Yeah, I'll look into seeing where I can nominate you for various
No, I don't want you to do it. You're too close. What? I want someone to do it on merit, not because I'm asking.
No, I want to be the person up there giving the speech as to why you won the award.
Because I nominated him and nobody
I
else
don't want
won.
the award. I want to give the speech about you winning the award.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yesterday, there was now just bear with me here. This is a thing that happened inside the government.
Oh.
All right, the government, the House of Representatives, to be specific. Something called the Sunshine Protection Act passed yesterday through the House on a 308 to 117 vote. It goes now to according to a New York Times article I'm reading, describing it as it's going into a murky territory in the Senate, where one GOP leader said it was unclear whether it could move ahead, and at least one Republican appears inclined to try to block it. So we'll see what happens when this ultimately gets to the Senate, but it is that many steps away. What is the Sunshine Protection Act? It murders daylight savings. This has been a conversation for a while now, over the last couple of years. Every year, people get triggered because they have to change their clocks. And this, I believe, would be the reason why we are why people are trying to remove daylight savings.
It's that, and then the other commonly held one is the disruption for young children, which we both have young children. I don't know that they're old enough where I've noticed any disruption.
Not even a little bit, but they're too young, probably. Yeah. Mine is too young at this point. And my question is this: why are we really going to change? Are we really going? And I know it's sort of arbitrary or whatever, but like, think about what you're saying. People are talking about changing their clocks. Clocks don't even exist anymore. Nobody has a clock. The clock is on your phone, and it changes by itself every time daylight savings time happens. And yes, there is one day every single year where you lose 1 hour of sleep. One day every single year where you lose 1 hour of sleep. And that day, the next day, everybody is given the permission to come into work and say, oh man, the daylight savings thing really caught up with me. I don't know what time or day it is. And then you talk about it at the water cooler for a couple hours, and then it's over. And then life returns back to normal. This is a totally normal thing that we have doing here. I don't understand why we're trying to murder daylight savings time. Is this a politically charged take? I don't even have any idea. I think it's something that applies to everyone's life, so we're talking about it.
Yeah, I don't think it's a politically charged take by any means. It's one of those things where would be totally fine if we just picked one way and just went with it, and I would adjust my entire life off of that.
What if I told you it's this way, where it's two different times?
Well, that wouldn't be sort of what I'm angling with here. Okay. I don't care about switching the clocks. I also, if this gets enacted, nothing would change for me in the slightest.
That's actually not true. I don't think that's true. We would not like it if it got sunny at 9 o'clock in the morning. You don't think you would notice a discernible difference if the sun came out at 8:45?
I think in part because I would be in this room regardless. So I'd be driving in the dark. We'd be starting the show in the dark, and then the light would come on, and then the light, the sunshine comes out. I leave the studio at 10:30, really unaffected by this.
Yeah. That's just a crazy thought to me. The sun rising, it being basically like it is right now at 6:30. The sun came up 25
the entire
minutes
existence of this is built on an agricultural economy that doesn't necessarily exist in the same way.
But
the argument against it is that there are farmers that feel like they would be dramatically affected because they wouldn't be able to start as early in, with the way the sun works. Like it changes how their sort of farming technique would go.
Uh-huh.
Understandable. The majority of the people are not farmers.
That is correct.
So
according to data that I have.
I feel the same way with the school calendar. Like, we built so many of our traditions off of an agricultural economy and an agricultural lifestyle that does not exist.
Yeah.
So moving away from it is only the natural sort of reaction to not being that anymore.
So what if you just change the idea? Like, I think what we're trying to do is basically center the daylight at a natural point during the day. Sure. It just would feel so odd to me if the sun came up at 9. I would be so freaked out by that. I don't know why, and I don't really want to change it.
I think you'd adjust really quickly.
I probably would. Would, but it would just be it would be so odd, and that's really the only reason that I could come up with. And then the idea of I am against all of the complainers about the hour time change whenever the hour time.
Yeah, change. I'll be honest. if regardless of how this goes,
You get like
my general position is I will adapt and survive. Either it stays the same as I've always known it, or it switches.
there's a trade-off
I'm
when
not
this
gonna
happens
notice.
every year. Like this is how I approach it. Maybe everyone could listen up and take my approach on this a little bit. So when we gain an hour of sleep when it's done in November, when we gain an hour of sleep, therefore it stretches out. You unfortunately are losing the hour of sunlight, right? You unfortunately are, but you gain an hour of sleep. There's your trade-off there. And it's the same thing in reverse when we do this in the other way in March. Yeah, unfortunately, we're losing an hour of sleep in March. But, however, it is springtime. It is basically springtime now. It's here. It's a sure sign that it's here. I don't know. I don't understand the problem with it. I don't understand why this is a topic that is being talked about and bantied about in political circles these days. What? Who is using this for their political gain?
I love this. Well,
I'm confused.
it starts at the very top. That's where
I
the
guess.
largest voice of propelling this comes from. But this quote in a story I'm looking at is great. I'm a little undecided as to where I want to go on this, Bill, but we've heard loud and clear. People don't want to change the clocks.
Everyone talks
Republican Representative Nick Langworthy said.
I hear from people all the time.
He
They
represents
hate
parts of
changing the
Buffalo.
clocks. Guess what? You hear from the greatest idiots. The people who are like, oh my God, I have to change my clock.
Yeah.
If you can't have the responsibility, if you cannot be trusted with the responsibility 2 times a year to change your clocks, and you feel like at that point you're liable to not change your clocks or do something wrong based off of what time it is or isn't, you cannot be an adult. You should not be allowed to say that you're an adult. All right? You can do this. I believe in you, America. You can change your clocks. I believe in you.
Do we know if this clock above us and Matt's clock will change automatically?
Great question. I hope it doesn't, and then we could remember to change it.
That would be a fun crossover
we could
in
take
November.
the responsibility to change it.
How do you feel about the following arguments?
Okay.
Proponents of Tuesday's measure argue dropping the clock change would come with a raft of benefits, including sparing Americans from losing an hour of sleep in the spring and other inconveniences. They argue more work hours in sunlight means less seasonal depression, with more recreational and economic activity, and less crime in the evenings.
I am all for trying
crime.
to cure seasonal depression and less crime in the evening.
So it's good for Lincoln, Nebraska.
Unfortunately, it
hugely popular in Lincoln, Nebraska.
It will still get dark.
There will still be crime.
And there will still be crime.
I don't know. Like, I know the phrase broad daylight exists.
Yeah.
There's still crime.
Yeah, but less crime. There's less crime. Well,
Are there actual numbers that
assuming
support this
criminals
claim?
are sleeping in anyways.
That's a great question, Joey. Is there actual numbers that support that there is less crime during the day? Probably not.
If you're doing crime at any time.
I would imagine the crimes are less serious during the day.
That is probably accurate.
Anything to that theory?
This is where we need a criminologist to basically text in and be like, the numbers show that X percentage of murders occur after 6 o'clock in the evening.
Absolutely, right?
It does seem like that would be true.
What do you think the number would be? 75% of murders occur after the sun goes down?
Numbers out of thin air, which is what this show does. 79% of murders occur after 6 p.m.
3 out of every 4 murders happen.
That seems like a better way to
Did you
phrase
say after 6 or after the sun goes down?
After 6.
Okay. What about after the sun goes down?
But the sun could be out, and there's murders in Alaska, and the sun might not ever go down.
That's true.
Now, famously, there's really no crime in Iceland, and they have year-round sun.
I'm not saying that.
Not true.
I'm
they
not
have
saying
summer-round
that
sun.
this lack of darkness prevents murders.
Yeah.
But I would imagine once the sun goes down, murder starts happening a little bit more.
It's possible.
Yeah, that'd be
That's not what Kenny Chesney would sing about, but
No, he talks about moving and grooving when the sun goes down.
When the sun goes down.
But really worth just thinking about how many murders they're going to
And how we don't want to change our clock.
Text from the 515. So would the extra hour of crime simply be moved to the afternoon? Great question.
That's what I wonder. I'm not like I can accept that the recreational and economic activity could go up to a degree, but the crime, I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
All right, so a lot of thoughts here from you all, and I want to get to a couple of them, but also we have to get out the tiny little balls and pop open the Phil Steele magazine. Soon enough, we'll have our Pick Six preview.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Got word of that.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone. As our dear friend Creighton Sam puts it last night, somebody was talking about daylight savings time and what it would look like in the morning. Sam says this isn't an issue if you bask in the audio warmth of Happer and Schaefer every morning. And I believe he's right. Many thoughts from many places. As I was explaining,
Just listen to good old Stibbs.
As I was explaining to Schaefer during the break, this is the quintessential 2026 issue because it
really doesn't matter.
Literally everyone is arguing so specifically for themselves. That's just why I like talking about it all the time, because it riles people up. And everyone can only speak to their own experiences. But much like college football that we have right now, nobody gives a rip about anyone else. So you're thinking about how this very specifically applies to you, and that will inform whether you are pro or anti changing the daylight saving situation. It's great, and no one is going to come to a conclusion on this.
I think the important conclusion that we should reach, though, is that Mike Schaefer is not anti-farming.
Thank you for saying
Do
that.
not put that out there
People
that
were
I am
concerned.
anti-farming.
There was some
I know
concern.
that
There's not going to be a graphic of
some
any sort.
are endeavoring to say that I am anti-farming. I'm not. I come from a family of farm people.
Okay, that's a graphic.
I come from a family of farm people. I could see it.
My
now.
grandparents had a farm.
All right.
They did. It was great.
Let's go to the tiny little balls. Let's do 3 balls today and then add them together, and then we'll start multiplying.
All right.
Because we've been ending up around page 100 like a lot lately.
We've been getting a handful of ACC teams.
So let's see what we could do with 3 tiny little balls. Those balls say 18, 9, and 45.
So 82.
72.
72. Missed it.
72 we go. To 72 we go. Which conference are we in? 72 we go.
I think it's the Big Ten.
The Big
Nope.
Ten. Oh,
Excuse me. I lied. We're going to the SEC and LSU.
oh wow.
Ooh, a
Sammy Levitt.
Large program of importance this year with Lane Kiffin moving over to LSU. Here is what Phil Steele writes at the end. LSU has plenty of talent and get their toughest foes at home, with the exception of the much anticipated September 19th game at Ole Miss. They
Ooh.
figure to be preseason top 10 and a national title contender.
So they play, I believe they play Texas A&M pretty early. That's a big game, like in September, I want to say.
They play Texas A&M the week after they play Ole Miss, September 26th.
Wow, that's 2
So-
big games in September.
Yeah, so they basically, one of the reasons I'm not really bullish on LSU this year is I think that's kind of one of those trap game-ish. You get through this emotional game with Ole Miss, and then you got to turn around and play what I think is going to be a pretty good Texas A&M team
dude,
that
Texas
returns
A&M's
a
gonna be
lot
good,
from
yeah.
last year's team. Their defense has to reload a little bit, but I think A&M's being slept on. The rest of the schedule isn't brutal, but again, the next 2 hardest games, and actually you could argue the next 3 hardest games, you end up with Alabama on November 7th, Texas November 14th, and then Tennessee November 21st. Now, if you don't think Tennessee's on the level of those other teams, maybe that isn't as difficult.
So what are their other SEC games?
They get Kentucky, Mississippi State, Auburn. Those are all going to be wins.
Okay.
And then they finish with Arkansas. So they have
Wow, that's
they have
really
5
light.
challenging ones,
Yeah.
and then 4 almost. I'd be shocked if they're not 4-0.
That's pretty light. I mean, they get
relative to what some of the SEC schedules are.
Yeah, that's interesting. Their total is 8.5. What are you taking?
I'll take the over. I think 9-3 is exactly what they're going to be.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to be a college football playoff team. I think Lane Kiffin eventually will have them rolling at LSU, but I don't think it happens right away in year 1.
Certainly a good opportunity for them to, potentially like be a playoff team, and then when they get there, be a contender. But
Well, you go 1-1 in the first 2-game stretch and 2-1 in the other stretch and win all the rest of them. They do play right off the bat. They play Clemson. And I don't know what to do with that because I don't know what to do with Clemson.
yeah,
I think Clemson is the most difficult team in college football to have any feel for because you don't know if their coach is actually good anymore.
I'd probably favor LSU.
Yeah, I would too. They're going to have the talent advantage.
Yeah.
It's just whether that they can transition and show up and beat a team that at the very least usually gives you a C for a game, but Clemson hasn't been the good version of Clemson. It feels like in a few years.
It's been a long time. All right, let's double it and go up to 144.
I feel like we've done this, but
I feel like 144 is a pretty familiar number too.
I think we've done it. Let me take a look.
It looks like we have because we just did it yesterday because it was Virginia.
Wow.
We could times it by 3 and go to page 216.
Joey says 216, and that is going to take us to Tulane. Have we been to Tulane?
We've not done it.
Let's talk about Tulane.
Tulane, which has one of the best helmets, I think, in college football for a non-Power 4 team. Probably one of the best non-Power 4 logos as well.
Dude.
The Green Wave did benefit from 5 net close wins. Tulane avoids Navy, hosts UTSA, so they remain a threat to get back to the AAC title game for the 5th consecutive year. 5 straight years of Tulane being in the AAC title game, all because of Willie Fritz.
He hasn't been there in multiple years.
Yeah, he set him up to be successful, and John Summerall got to cash that in to go to Florida, where he'll fail like his predecessor.
Wow, you have takes.
I do have takes.
Do you know who Tulane's coach is?
Tulane's new coach. Oh man, no, I can cheat. I know who it is now.
It is Will Hall.
I know nothing about Will Hall.
Will Hall was their pass game coordinator last year.
Okay.
They're hired from within.
Their schedule, they're at Duke to start the year. We talked about Duke yesterday when we were going through this. The Blue Devils won the ACC a year ago and then lost Darian Mensah and their best wide receiver. So tough first game right off the bat at Duke for Tulane. And Kansas State on the schedule. Tulane famously beat Kansas State a few years ago, and that's kind of what kicked off things for Willie Fritz for that bunch. And then the rest of their I don't know, North Texas, are they going to take a big substantial drop off without
Great question.
Eric Morris and Drew Messmaker? I don't know the rest about that conference at this point. That's why we're doing this, I guess. USF is the last game of the year at USF. Seems like that could be a challenging one as well.
Do you know who North Texas hired to be their coach?
No.
Neil Brown.
Oh, yeah, they're not going to be very good.
Hater of Neil Brown, who once beat Nebraska.
He's not bad. I just don't know, I don't know. You went from a guy who basically gave you a tremendous offense that was one of the most efficient, high-scoring offenses in the country to Neil Brown.
Yeah. Neil Brown was once a hot name, and then it straight up wasn't after that. According to Bill Connolly's SP+, here is the AAC. It likes Navy.
Okay. Navy is one of those teams.
Navy's a hot playoff team this year.
Navy and UNLV, I think, are the most commonly discussed.
Every single AAC team ranked 63 or below in SP+, and there are some real stinkers. I mean,
who's the stinkiest of stinks?
Charlotte is the worst team in FBS.
They were hoping that I would take over dynasty-wise there, but I did not.
I bet they were. Navy, Memphis, UTSA, ECU, USF, Army, Tulane. God, that conference has changed too. Anyway, that's our preview. Thank you, Phil Steele, and thank you, of course, again to the Tiny Little Balls. These are in here for anyone to use however they would like. We will take a quick break, come back, talk about the news of the day yesterday regarding Nebraska football right after this on 1620 The Zone. Welcome back. 7 o'clock hour of Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, the Zone Radio Network. I am Connor Happer alongside Mike Schaefer and Joey Warcola this morning. A reminder about our Salvation Army backpack drive, the 7-can back-to-school backpack program. Over the years, more than 250,000 backpacks have been given away over the life of the program. You can start donating to the drop-off points July 1st all the way through August 3rd. So we're smack dab in the middle of that right now at select Methodist Health Systems locations, Metro Credit Unions, Cubby's convenience stores, and Salvation Army locations. You know, the regular school supplies, backpacks, rulers, notebooks, erasers, things like that, tissues, sanitizer. Find more details at 1620 Zone on how and where and when you can donate. But if you were listening carefully, you now know that information. All right. Yesterday, some news came in regarding Nebraska football. They added a running back. It's July 15th. Yesterday was July 14th. And they added a running back to the room. We do not know the status still. We'll find out in a couple weeks at Big Ten Media Days, I'm sure, or maybe slightly before that. On Mekhi Nelson, who had the charges against him dropped yesterday, according to our dear friend Tim Verghese. Don't know if that has any sort of impact on his standing as a Nebraska football player at this point. I do feel like that is important context before we start talking about the rest of the running back situation, which had a change yesterday. I still don't know what's going to happen with Mekhi Nelson. And, like whether he's there or whether he's not, I still would think the same about this ad for Nebraska. And not we could talk about its importance, but whether he's there or not, Nebraska added to the room.
Yeah, which you and I had been basically asking for them to do since the show's inception in January, right in the middle of the portal season.
Indeed,
with the sort of thought being like, well, maybe they're holding out that Sharmar Brown is going to want to come back to Nebraska.
It was going to have to be a miracle, right? It was going to have to be something that just plopped into their lap, and here we are. It did.
And that's effectively what happened here with Tyke Hayes.
So Tyke Hayes is the player here in question. A little bit of the backstory. So he was at Penn State last year, and he did not play at all until the Pinstripe Bowl. Penn State was in the Pinstripe Bowl last year against Clemson, of course. And he had 3 carries in that game for, I think, 18 yards. And so he doesn't play at all the entire year until the Pinstripe Bowl when he has 3 carries. And then after that game, announces that he's coming back to Penn State. He goes, I'm coming back for my sophomore year. I would imagine there's some excitement, right? He was, according to what I've read on him from last year, he could have potentially been the third or fourth guy. They never gave a carry to anyone at that position, not named Nicholas Singleton or Katron Allen. So we never really found out.
Nebraska found out. Nebraska found out about
they found out about
Allen
those two.
And Nicholas Singleton.
Yeah, they didn't find out about anybody else.
No, what I mean is they found out in their scouting report those were going to be the guys, and it didn't matter because they just got ran over.
So he says he's coming back to Penn State immediately after the season last year. And then 3 days after he announced he was coming back to Penn State, he entered the transfer portal. And all right. And then this is where it gets interesting. Nothing. For an extended period of time, to the point where Penn State fans were wondering what happened to Tyke Hayes. Where did he go? He was supposed to be good. He was from this powerhouse program at Aliquippa, like he had come up, as a freshman, and people sort of liked what they saw. Nobody knew where he was until someone sleuthed his huddle highlights on the internet from his recruiting profile, and it said that it had changed where he was playing from Penn State to Iowa Western Community College right up the road. And so nobody knew where he was until he finally kind of surfaces at Iowa Western. He was set to play this year at Iowa Western. Of course, we are 6 or so weeks before the season starts here. And Iowa Western lost their starting running back, so I kind of feel bad for Stroh on that one. And I would imagine, for the record, part of the reason why it was so quiet on Hayes is because, Iowa Western wants to be good. They want to have a good football team. They thought he could have been a big part of their good football team this year, and probably wanted to keep quiet that he was there because they knew that he's a Power 5 football player. And so fast forward to yesterday, Nebraska is going to pluck him out of there and put him on the roster and see what happens after that. And I think there's a lot more to it, but that is what we know about the situation right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fascinated. This is a guy that any running back that's recruited by Penn State is certainly someone that just in general I'm going to have a lot of interest in. He was recruited by Terry Smith, who ended up being the interim head coach there.
So Terry Smith is his uncle.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I've read. I've learned a lot about Mr. Tyke. Tyke is also not his real name.
Yeah,
right?
it's
a shortened version.
Nickname shortened version of his real name. But he's I think he's an interesting addition to a room where it's like even back in January, it wasn't like I was expecting them to go out and get like some stud running back. I just wanted them to add to a room to continue to give themselves options, because I just felt like they were ultimately going to need it, because other than last year with Emmett Johnson, they, under Matt Rule and even prior to Matt Rule, have largely run through multiple running backs while searching for answers at a position that's eluded them for several years. Now, Emmett Johnson parlayed his 2023 and his 2024 into the best season a running back has had at Nebraska since Amir Abdullah was here in over a decade. And now they have to follow that up. We know what happened with Mekhi Nelson in terms of the legal trouble. Now that has cleared itself up, we don't know where his standing is on the roster. It'd be hard for me to say that he would be unaffected entirely by everything that occurred there.
Suspension, yeah.
So I don't know what that means in terms of him. Just the other day, or what was it, yesterday, I was asking Mitch about Isaiah Mosey, who I consider to be one of the more sort of fascinating guys on Nebraska's roster, because I don't know what that actually looks like as a running back, because he's a wide receiver that converted to that position, and there's a good chance that he would be the guy who would get the first carry against Ohio. Yeah. So adding Tyke Hayes, assuming that everything goes well there, gives you another option to go alongside of. I mentioned, how many carries could a Connor Booth end up with? And a guy like Tyke Hayes could cut into that at the back end of your roster. Is he likely to flip you from 6 wins to 7 wins, or 7 wins to 8 wins? Probably not.
No,
it's the idea to me of adding more depth at the position. Adding a guy who seems like he has some upside. He was a 3-star on 24/7 Sports and a 4-star on 24/7 Sports composite.
I am willing to listen, like, as far as what he means in your win call. Like, it's just we just, like you said, I'm not even willing to really go there. He's certainly a talented player, like you said. But as far as what it means for Nebraska and their roster and their running back rotation, I am willing to listen to anything. I mean, if you told me today,
that's the most ultimate choose your own adventure position room that there is, right?
If you told me today that he's going to take the first rep, I'd be like, all right.
I'd be
a little surprised.
There's no way.
I'd be a little surprised. But no, I would not say there is no way.
I would say there's no way. I can't imagine that he would come in and take the first rep. But could he be involved as early as the Ohio game? Yeah, I would leave the door open for that.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is a guy who had 3 carries last year, in large part because was it Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, those guys got drafted. Like they had 2 running backs and they loaded them up, and nobody else was touching the ball, so there wasn't a need for him.
No, I'm not saying anything about how good or not good he is. Like, I don't know, and certainly there's some background on him that the recruiting, he had an offer from Ohio State. This is a pretty well sought after, thought of recruit, and all those different things. That's not about that for me. He goes into the room where I just have no idea.
Right.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I
Which
love the
is-
idea of throwing him in there with, a Jamal Rule, who I didn't like the fact that it felt we were going to this sort of thing where it's going to be, okay, here's a freshman running back that you're just going to end up loading up because you haven't recruited this position enough. And I don't know that he's definitely better than a Mekhi Nelson or an Isaiah Mosey or whatever. I'm talking about Rule here, but adding another body to that room is good, especially
Absolutely.
when it just feels like you've needed to go 4 deep at running back most years.
Yeah. So it doesn't solve any of the problems from the perspective of you still don't have a running back that you can really trust. And you might have gone 1 for 1. We'll see what happens with Mekhi Nelson here. But I adding a running back to the room is 100% a good thing.
Yep.
Unless he is some sort of, like late ads are interesting, right? They come in all shapes and sizes, literally. We have experience of this.
Yep.
Nebraska famously had a late ad the one time he was in.
It would have been right around probably a week from now, Jordan Stevenson.
Now you want to talk about shapes and sizes.
Get your twos up.
He was not in the right shape or size to play football when he got to Nebraska.
So are you saying Tyke Hayes is going to be out there as a kick returner and returning it no matter what and not getting to the 25?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying that.
All right.
I'm saying that was the last notable time that Nebraska had a late ad at that position. And I think
I can't think of anybody else that's like notable.
and that has a relatively clear playing time path. I mean, he
it's
has-
clear as anybody else.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he's just right in the mix.
If Nebraska late added an offensive lineman today who had 5 reps or whatever, we'd be like, all right, nice, congratulations. But we already got our guys. They're adding a running back. They don't have their guys.
They went from 4 possible running backs to 5 possible running backs.
Right.
And
Right.
so like his chances of emerging are by the end of the year.
Yep.
Don't seem to be significantly worse than anybody else in that group.
Yep. At the same time, as Gilo writes in, definitely could be some Jordan Stevenson vibes here. But you throw him into the mix with everybody else. If it ends up not working out, then it ends up not working out, and you're in the same place where you started a couple.
You had a
weeks ago.
roster spot. I'm guessing this comes with absolutely no NIL. Or very, very, very marginal NIL, like whatever anybody else on the roster is already getting. And it's more or less a tryout.
So, and then I guess there's some technical stuff that goes along with this too. Since he never entered the portal, or he did enter the portal and then ended up not going anywhere and then popping up at Iowa Western and now ending up at, like, how does that work in terms of where he can be and can't be? Is he allowed
so junior college, I'm pretty sure, is not the same as the portal. It works in the same way as anybody that goes to junior college that's a full qualifier. So there is an academic aspect to all of this too.
Right.
But assuming he's a full qualifier, and if he made it to Penn State, which is more difficult to get in than Nebraska is, my guess is full qualifier. So he'd be able to move off of junior college. It'd be like, this would happen before the portal, or we even knew of the portal's existence. This would happen where it would be called a bounce back guy who might go somewhere for the spring and then end up at a different program in the summer because a need arises. Trying to think of another example of this, a guy who starts his career at junior college because he had no recruitment, but would have been a full qualifier. Someone gets wind of him, like a Jakeem Green or somebody like that. So that's why I don't think this will have any sort of what I can't remember what we were calling it when we were talking with Max, where the blind transfers.
Yeah.
This wouldn't qualify as a blind transfer. One, he's not coming from the FBS level. He'd be coming from junior college. Two, I think he was enrolled there, and because he is a full qualifier at Nebraska, he would just be able to move over to Nebraska.
Okay.
So that actually, what it does is it makes me wonder if there's some sort of loophole, but that's not.
That's what I was sort of getting at. Yeah.
You would have to. I just don't think that's something that can be overly exploited, because you basically be like, okay, well, I'm going to just go to JUCO and wait till somebody needs a guy. Well, that's the same as being in the portal and waiting for somebody to need a guy. So I don't know that really
Yeah, but nobody in
works
the portal is going to sit there and like you can hide better at junior college than you can in the portal. I guess maybe that's the idea.
Well, and without knowing the full situation,
and certainly Nebraska didn't do this. This literally came up within the last week. Yeah.
I think this is very much Nebraska caught wind that he was there, reached out, he was able to make the move. They could make it work, and here we are.
So here is the other part of this as well. Like this goes without saying, but it's I do think it's important potentially in this situation. You do not have an existing relationship with him. You don't know what we were talking about him in terms of football shape and whatever. I don't know what that's going to look like when he gets here and how he goes into the room and all those different things. But you don't know what he's going to be like in a locker room. He's going to be like all these different things. And unfortunately, Nebraska has put themselves in a position where if they felt like they had to take a guy, which I don't know, it's a curious question from Rule. Why now? And why did you feel like you had to take one now? Or did you feel like this was just the right situation that sat in your lap or whatever it was? But if you are looking now, it's you don't have a relationship with anybody.
Right.
And you don't have, any sort of background on what they're going to be like or anything like that. And so anything that happens in the first year here, to the positive is just luck, right? It should be viewed as a cherry. Like maybe he comes in and he's awesome and he's a great teammate and he does all the work and he's ready to go and Nebraska feels comfortable in playing him. That's what it's going to have to take. If not, then it's a dud and it's nothing.
Yeah.
This is the type of player that you're talking about in this specific situation.
And we'll hear what the staff actually has to say about this whenever it comes up. But I would assume EJ Barthel did some vetting here. There's a good chance that he was already familiar with who Tyke Hayes was as a recruit because of the area of the country of which he comes from, out of was it Aliquippa in Pennsylvania. So it's an area, Nebraska has recruited Pennsylvania more and more. Obviously, Khalil Taylor just committed from there. And so it's an area that they have, they certainly would have some familiarity with. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a risk. You don't know. Generally speaking, there's always some reason as to why a guy ends up at a junior college. What a college staff always attempts to do is fill in the blanks for why that reason exists. Nebraska is comfortable enough to offer this opportunity. Again, I don't think it comes with any NIL or any expectations or anything else. I think it's a timing and price was perfectly right. And the fact that he was already across the river at Iowa Western Community College.
Yep.
All of those things added up. I don't think it needs to be anything more than that. I don't think there's people in the StreamYard that are wondering when we're going to mention that everyone was recruiting him and he's going to go win the Doak Walker or whatever. That's not our show. That's not what we do. That's not what we're going to do. This is just an option that they have at running back, which was all I was asking for in January.
Yeah, the best I can say about it is that it makes me feel a little bit better about the potential options in the room. Yep. That's it. I mean, like, and I'm serious. That's as far as I could push it. Yeah. A little bit better about that position. I like that they have another option in there, but the reason why I say a little bit is because you don't even know if it's going to be a thing, right? You don't even. Is he going to be ready to go?
You were excited about it. You have no idea how these are going to go. Mac Markway showed up and he's never been able to play for Nebraska because of 2 injuries.
Exactly.
So you have no idea how anyone's career is going to play out, and it just should be viewed as, hey, good on Nebraska for always turning over every stone. I mean, that is one thing you have to give Matt Rule credit for. He has most summers.
They could have turned this stone in particular over a long time ago, but they chose not to.
But to their credit, every summer he has found ways to add players in the summer that ultimately have helped them at some point in time. I mean, Sierra Wright.
Shout out Sierra Wright.
Biggest example.
Yes.
But yeah, I just like it. It's another, guy with potential upside at a running back position that is wide open for you.
Aaron says, it felt like Nelson was going to be gone when I heard it, but then no charges came out later. So it felt weird. Yeah, that's what we mentioned at the beginning. It doesn't feel like they're really related, to be honest with you. And I do think there is a world where Mekhi Nelson is still not playing for Nebraska this fall.
Agreed.
Even though that was the case as far as the legal positioning is concerned. And then Aaron says this, He says this could also be as simple as to get another foot in the door to Iowa Western, which has been woefully ignored or not taken advantage of. I'll tell you this. I haven't talked to Stroh or anything like that. I cannot imagine this improves your relationship with Iowa Western.
Yeah, I don't think they're worried about their relationship with
I'm just
Iowa
saying,
Western.
if that's what the angle is, I don't think that is.
I mean,
that's being affected in a positive way here.
They interviewed, is it Aaron Terry?
Aaron Terry, yeah.
As a defensive line coach. I mean, they had the kid that was committed briefly until he ended up elsewhere. The Iowa Western thing always comes up amongst people in the fan base, and I don't know. It's not one of these things that I think
the coaching nice if Nebraska had a relationship time.
Right, but it's not like they haven't. Like Scott Frost was close with the Strohmeyers. Like Nebraska has had coaches that have relationships over there, and it just hasn't led necessarily to their best players ending up in Lincoln. Like I think we make way more of it than it really needs to.
Yeah, I mean,
now,
probably
a decade ago when Nebraska could have had their foot in the door on a number of players that nobody else really knew about, and Bo Pelini and Mike Riley probably didn't do enough work with that. Sure, I think that was true. I think right now, Nebraska's pretty well aware of what's over there. It doesn't always mean it lines up with the player wants to go to Nebraska or Nebraska's that interested.
That's true. Yeah, I do wish at times the relationship and the lines would be more more open. But yeah, and like I said, in this specific case, it doesn't feel like one where it's like, oh yeah, we'll take a guy from there. Like he didn't. I don't know. Like I said, I can't imagine this improves the relationship with Iowa Western if that's what people were looking for. That's not what it feels like is happening to me. But then again, I don't know. So we'll get more on this over the next several days and weeks. But there is the story, and then of course we'll talk about it at Big Ten Media Days coming up here in just a couple weeks. So let's take a quick timeout. I want to hear from you guys. 402-951-1620. Prairie Fire Casino Zone hotline's open. Also, Twitter on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed at Happen Shave. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Hi, everybody. Harry Carey here.
What did we think of the touch last night at the 96th Midsummer Classic that had, as the starting lineups were being announced, the players signing what basically amounted to the Declaration of Independence with a quill, with a pen, and with a feather. Basically, what do we think about that?
In general, I'm pro quill. Anytime a quill is coming out, it seems awesome. It's a nice touch, yeah. You got to celebrate the history of Philadelphia, and
I kind of thought it was corny at first, and I'm like, you know what? All right, I'm into it. Let's do it. Let's have all the pop
lead
and
into the
circus
corniness,
dance.
yeah.
Absolutely. And then you had the Sandlot thing happen during the game, and then the Boys to Men showed up. And did you not see that part?
No.
Oh yeah, it's great.
That's mostly incredible because we're like 18 years removed from me seeing them for free at the Nebraska State Fair where the fight broke out.
That's right. Yeah.
And people went to jail at a Boys to Men concert.
And then they performed at the 2026 MLB All Star Game.
Incredible.
Which is a lot of fun.
Is Boys to Men the most notable Philly
it can't be.
Okay, that's a question. Who is the most notable Who are the most notable musicians coming out of Philly?
It cannot
Aren't
be.
Beastie Boys out of Philly?
Patti LaBelle did the national anthem.
I saw that.
Yeah, she's from Philly.
Yeah.
So
I assumed as much. They weren't just like, we're gonna get Patti LaBelle.
Famous musicians from Philadelphia. Yeah, there's got to be somebody good in here. Drummers, singers, rappers, musical groups. Let's do musical groups. God, I hate Wikipedia.
Hall & Oates is still a thing, right?
I mean, it's still a thing? What do you mean by that?
Well, I didn't want to say it like this, but they're still alive, right?
They're still alive. I believe they broke up.
Okay. Well, they were touring not that long ago.
Okay. Are they from Philadelphia?
Yeah. They're from a duo formed in Philadelphia. I don't think they're originally like those two, but they formed there.
Okay. I think you kind of have to be from there. You can't be formed there. What does that even mean? You got together at a studio?
The American R&B duo formed in Philadelphia. I mean, maybe it was a studio related thing. Their Wikipedia page, origin, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay, maybe that counts.
Have you ever noticed that with bands though? It's because a couple of these guys played together in college that the college North Texas might get credit for this country.
This is where they came together.
Yeah, basically that's more or less what I think they're saying here. I don't know if any of them specifically is. Daryl Hall is from Pottstown, Pennsylvania.
That counts.
That was a city that Michael Severe really wanted to be city of the day.
We could bring it up for Michael.
And then John Oates is from New York.
Okay. But they came together in Philadelphia. Maybe they came together at the Rocky statue. Before the Rocky movies came out.
They formed in 1967. So They actually met at the site of the Rocky statue, which is why the whole inspiration for Rocky to run the steps actually occurred.
Colin writes in on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox, Daryl Hall sued John Oates a couple years ago, so they are done.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I thought that was an ugly breakup. It was sad. It's very, very sad. TC says Jim Croce. My boy Jim Croce is from Philadelphia.
Didn't know that.
That's a good one. Unfortunately, he could not take part in last night's festivities because he died.
A long time ago.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
A long, long time ago. Taylor Swift is from Philadelphia? That's not true. She's from I guess she was formed in Nashville.
Yeah, I thought she was from
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
She was born in West Reading.
Okay. All right. Is that Philly? It's Philly adjacent.
It's probably adjacent. Yeah.
You'd probably be
it's close enough to basically.
You'd probably be a de facto Phillies fan. Interesting. Like Mike Trout last night. There was a big Mike Trout night.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in Philly booed everyone except for any of the Phillies and Mike Trout.
Well, I think there's always been this sort of hope that the Phillies would eventually trade for Mike Trout and bring him home, so to speak.
It's 45 minutes away. Even though he's from Jersey. And we did Millville as our city of the day.
Yeah, we did. When Mike Trout hit a bunch of home runs against the Yankees. It's an hour from West Reading to Philadelphia.
All right, that's good. That counts.
It feels like that's outside the radius of really being able to, but it's close enough.
I mean, you are definitely like a Phillies, Eagles, Flyers fan if you're from West Reading.
We assume that Taylor Swift cared about sports at all.
She seems to have a bit of nomadic sports.
No, I don't even know if she ever lived there. Like being born somewhere / growing up somewhere are two different things. This is where we need someone that has like her entire history that can just pass this along to us.
Get right to
We could ask Michael Severe. He's apparently a Swiftie.
Oh yeah, he hates that. Or no, he loves Taylor Swift.
Yeah, he mentioned. No, he loves Taylor Swift.
Okay. Oh yeah, you hate Taylor Swift. You did your rant about Taylor Swift.
I don't hate her.
Oh, it sounds
uninterested.
like it.
There's no hate.
I brought up the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift wedding, and you were
there was a headline. That's how we brought it up. We had a headline.
I want to exist in a world where I don't have to hear about her endlessly, and she exists in a world where we have to hear about her all the time, and those things coexist.
And here we are talking about her being from West Reading, Pennsylvania.
She's everywhere.
Little before your time, Brian from Bellevue says Frankie Avalon.
I don't know if I know Frankie.
Couldn't is he? I assume he's not still with us.
Frankie is 85 and going strong.
All right, so they would not have included him in the festivities last night, even though we do have 94-year-old Smokey Robinson still doing shows.
Smokey was available.
Smokey was available. I don't think he's from Philadelphia.
How did we ever hear how that went?
Apparently it went well.
I heard great from the people a couple of people who were there. Very much enjoyed it. They enjoyed cake. They enjoyed Smokey.
Totally forgot to ask Nick because he was at the show.
Okay. He is of music. You would get thoughts.
Yeah,
most certainly is. All right, let's do this real quick before we get to the headlines. Did you see this? That we were talking about Dylan Carey and his lack of being drafted the other day. He did sign a free agent deal, by the way, with the New York Mets. So afternoon yesterday. Another free agency deal came in. Mac Moyer is foregoing his last year of eligibility. He's going to sign with the San Diego Padres. So, side note here: if you're looking for a hated team around here, Creighton, Nebraska fans, handshake meme, baseball. Creighton also somewhat unexpectedly lost their ace, who could have come back next year to a free agent deal with the San Diego Padres. So, screw the Padres.
Is it
hater of the Padres? Me.
This probably is one of those things where it's more noticeable because it's now occurred twice and you just don't think about it. Or are we going to see more of these where guys just aren't drafted, end up just signing because it's a quicker route?
I think there's a conversation to be had about this. And I think that could be part of the reason why it does seem to have a quicker route. Also, guys, clocks and ages and things like that always plays a factor. But these teams have
Mac Moyer would have been playing his 5th year of baseball at that point.
Exactly. It's at a certain point you just are done.
It's harder to get drafted at 23 than it is to just sign an undrafted free agent at 22.
There is a little bit that comes with it from the professional side as well. There's more money to play with for these signings.
Oh.
So they can go back, and even if they don't draft the guy and maybe they held some money over to say, "Oh, okay," because the draft is smaller. These days. There's a little bit more money to play with. And that they're finding a way to kind of compete with college baseball in that particular space. It's really interesting.
That is, yeah.
Because like Ole Miss, they went out and they basically just like money whipped Major League Baseball. They're like, no, we're bringing all these guys back. They brought a bunch of guys back. They weren't able to keep a couple of them still with eligibility, but they brought some guys back who had options and potential to go sign to MLB teams. Nebraska is a team that maybe they could have made it a little bit more enticing for Mac Moyer to stay. And do they have the money to do that? Do they want to have the money to do that? And how much money are we talking about here? It's an interesting time and place that we're in right now, with especially guys who have a year of eligibility left and have the ability to potentially start their pro career, even though they haven't been drafted. It's fascinating. That used to be a death sentence. It's not anymore.
This is probably an unanswerable question, but the money used to sign undrafted free agents, would that come out of like the, for the lack of a better term, the general fund of what you're paying for? or does that have to come out of your bonus pool money? Because one, you didn't draft him, so that money is slotted for, and the money allotted for teams is based on
then
draft picks and quality of draft pick and the slot value.
And then there's like an international signing pool too. That
which that would
maybe there's a third pool just for this. I don't know.
I almost wonder if this just comes out of. But you're right. Like if you're really interested in someone that doesn't get drafted and you're competing against a college, it's a good chance the Major League Baseball team can offer more than Mac Moyer probably wasn't going to get much in terms of NIL from Nebraska, not because he wasn't insanely valuable.
Yep.
Nebraska just doesn't have that much NIL to offer baseball-wise. And if their choice is give a bunch of money to one player.
And a lot of it is spoken for at this point. You know, if you're talking about scholarship count and stuff like that, a lot of that stuff is spoken for next year. You can't go back and add more.
You know what this does, though, is it has me in fear that Jayshon Unger is going to sign with someone. Like that's kind of the biggest name that didn't go for Nebraska in my mind. And when I saw the Mac Moyer thing, I was like, whoa, that's weird. I don't feel like I remember that happening. And then you mentioned with the Creighton pitcher. And so
Jack Pino,
I'm wondering if we're seeing more undrafted free agent signings. You usually just assume it's seniors that didn't get drafted. But in this case, it's older guys that likely aren't interested in playing a fifth year of college baseball.
And that's the key difference between a guy like Moyer and Unger.
Unger
We're talking about
is
4 years compared to 3 years under their belts.
And he's someone who's very likely to, if he has another good season, parlay that into
a draft pick for sure. I think he was on the draft radar this year, needs a little bit of production.
Sure.
He'll come back and be a starter next year.
Can he do it again kind of thing?
Exactly. And so he'll turn himself into a draft pick. So those are vastly different situations, but I do think it's sort of fascinating. They did get a reaffirmation. Nebraska did from Case Sanderson, who's coming back, and then you've lost the guys that you've lost Carey, and you've lost your two top pitchers and Horn and Yasa, and then you've lost
Mac Moyer
now, and so that's a pretty big chunk out of it, I suppose, and. Only
maybe the kid from Illinois that ended up getting drafted at the very end, Bates, I think, Zach Bates.
Yeah, did he sign?
I don't think he's signed yet.
Okay.
I don't think we have that fully
sussed out,
fully known yet at this point. I don't know how many guys. I don't remember how the Major League Baseball has changed so much in the last decade as to how the draft looks and how it operates. What the actual signing period? If it's just this 2-week period before the end of the month.
Well, because they go off right away and they go straight to their spring training sites and go start playing into instructional right away. And so I don't know how quickly they want them to turn that around. I don't know what the grace period is on it, but yeah, I do think we're at a sort of interesting point as far as that stuff is concerned. Unfortunate for Nebraska, they did get a couple guys back, and but thought we'd pass that along because certainly would have been a productive player for Nebraska.
Yeah.
This upcoming season. All right, we have plenty more to cover. We still have to get into the totally normal Michigan things that are happening.
Totally normal.
Sam's running back question.
Talk to Sam himself.
But first, we have the headlines. We'll do that when we return on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone is trying to give you Arby's. We're trying to help. Listen all week to Unsportsmanlike Conduct to have a chance to win a $25 gift card to Arby's, who, folks, they have the meats. People forget that. Joey, you're here.
I am here.
You had a delicious meal last night to celebrate you being here.
It was an Arby's,
and
unfortunately.
That's okay. But
the food was good. The food was good. The wait was worth it. People probably assume I went to the place that's known for the long wait lines.
According to some.
According to some.
Some people never have problems.
I was waiting to see if I got a comment from him, but he's not acknowledging it.
He must not have seen it because he certainly would have. It's a great bit by John Bishop.
It is.
All right. What do we have for headlines today?
Okay. First headline out of Mother Russia holds its first humanoid let me read that again. Russia holds its first humanoid robot wedding in a Moscow library.
Whoa.
Okay. I have general interest. There's a lot happening there. Let's see what's next.
Guys, are you familiar with Erling Haaland from Norway?
Yes.
Well, Erling Haaland has unexpected impact on newborn babies in Peru after World Cup fame.
In Peru, huh? That one's throwing me off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to go with that. I'm wondering if it's just like
they're
a couple babies were named Erling or named
not
Haaland.
Just a couple, a handful.
Okay, that's a good enough hint. Let's go.
Yep.
Here we go. Norway has had an amazing run in the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and it's because of Erling Haaland. The Manchester City superstar bagged 7 goals in his first ever FIFA World Cup and carried the nation on his back. Moreover, his goofy personality, blah, 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 blah. The U.S. isn't the only country where Haaland has become a beloved superstar. In fact, in Peru, they have seen an unexpected growth in the name Erling Haaland since the World Cup. Really, we're going with both, huh? Peru is now the country with the most babies named after Erling Haaland in the world. They added over 500 newborn babies in Peru have been named after the Norwegian player. At least 468 with Haaland and 91 babies with the full name Erling Haaland. Of course, geographically, Peru is more than 6,500 miles away from Norway, but Haaland's performance has impacted recent newborn baby names in the South American country. How about that? That's a lot of babies named Haaland in Peru.
It's an interesting name.
Very much of its time. I mean,
yeah.
Imagine what happens in 20 years when all the Haalands get together
and are drafted by Major League Baseball.
And there's the 91 Erling Haalands that will all be like, whoa, they're the special ones.
So not only Haaland,
I really hope a couple of them eventually lead Peru to the 128 team World Cup that we'll have at that point in time.
Oh, no, disaster.
So long from now.
But Haaland's, there's another article that kind of explains this, but Haaland's like not the only player. There's also Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, just either.
Now that makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
Pretty much any of the stars that's been in the World Cup, it's had an impact on the newborns. But Erling Haaland, man, he had a fantastic World Cup. He had a great homecoming, returning back to Norway after their historic run in the World Cup. Unless there was a real sentimental value, like there was a close personal relationship or whatever. Like when I name my child, I don't want to really think about anything else except for coming up with a unique name for that child. Yeah. Right. And like I said, unless I'm naming it after a relative or something that really, really, really meant a lot to us as a family, me and my wife. I want to name my son or daughter something completely unique if I at all possibly can.
Did you, and this wouldn't necessarily have been an option, though it could have been. Did you consider naming your child Connor? Would you consider naming your child Connor? Do you want to start a lineage?
I don't want
or name it Happer.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in that.
I don't have any interest in that.
I don't even need a middle name in there. Like there needs to be no association with me other than I guess as father and last name.
My daughter's middle name is my wife's middle name.
Yeah, and that's really common.
Yeah.
My son's middle name is my dad's first name.
Okay.
So that's usually how middle names end up happening anyways.
Right.
So
Just take another name from somewhere else.
right.
It's like, yeah, I like
This
that
is
one.
like the first name, and then you kind of want the two of them to sound okay.
Or you could do first place and then runner up is the middle name.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean
Would that work?
That could work.
I don't
That could
even
work.
know what our runner up was. I can't. I literally don't remember.
We knew that, not new, but we had decided like boy name was easy, and if we have another kid, I think it'd be the same thing. Like boy name, we kind of already know where that direction is headed. The girl name, like it's all over the map.
It could be anything.
Yeah. I think that's usually how it works for not necessarily boy or like one of them is easier and the other one would be more difficult.
The boy name is more likely to follow, whether it be a lineage or like there's like a family history in there somewhere, or you could pluck it out of. But the girl names are, like you said, they're
Man,
all
I
over
can't
the
wait to
place.
meet Salvi Witt Happer.
That's gonna be an awesome kid.
It would be a pretty cool kid.
Salvi Witt Happer. First name Salvi. But is that as weird as having a Erling Holland Happer?
Erling Holland
That
Happer.
actually sounds good.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Erling Happer actually is kind of a cool name.
Holland Happer?
Holland Happer is a very, it sounds like a Coen Brothers movie character.
Ken does. Yeah.
He's Holland Happer's up in Fargo or whatever.
Pedro writes in, "Hi guys, I heard Connor was named after Jimmy Connor."
You're named after Jimmy Connors?
Jimmy
Whoa.
Connors? No, I wasn't named after anything. I don't think.
Same.
I don't think. My parents were just like, "Yeah, we like these couple. We'll just pick this one."
My parents were like, you were either going to be Michael or Michelle. We didn't know what version of it was going to be. So
It's so weird how people get named.
yeah.
You know? Isn't it just amazing?
Well, and then it's like
And now I've been on the other side of naming a person, and it was just like there was no rhyme or reason why. It was just like, yeah, we'll call her Sophie.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
Yeah, no, it's 100%. And then it's impossible to imagine a different name for
I
that
know.
individual.
It's so odd.
It really
Anyway,
is.
you want to hear about the humanoid wedding, the
we got
humanoid
time.
robots real quick? We got a minute. So two humanoid robots exchanged vows created by artificial intelligence at Moscow's Pushkin Library. Russia's first robot wedding, according to the organizers, was a staged demonstration intended to raise awareness of the nation's humanoid robot efforts. They put these stupid robots in a suit and a tie and then a wedding dress. They had them hold hands and walk down the aisle and say vows to each other and got married. This is terrifying. The humanoid robots are named Robert and Matilda, which if Matilda already wasn't a terrifying enough, thing from that movie. Matilda.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
I kind of like that movie.
Yeah, it's
pretty
a good
good.
movie when I was a
Became
kid.
the center of attention during what organizers describe as Russia's first robotic wedding ceremony. Yeah, you really showed the world what the robots could do. You made them get married. Nice job, Russia. All right, we'll take a quick time out. Halfway home, 8 o'clock hour coming up. Plenty to discuss, including, and not limited to, running backs, Sam McEwen. Plenty more coming on 1620 The Zone. You can find Joey Warcola on Twitter for all your behind-the-scenes content, where Joey will sometimes just throw out a picture of what we're doing during the break at Joey Warcola. Yes, it's true. Mike Schaefer and I were gathered around my computer watching the 2.5-minute 1996 trailer for the movie Matilda during the break, which was exciting.
I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of think every day between the end of the second hour and the start of the third hour, we watch a movie trailer from the 90s.
Okay.
That's a good bit.
I mean, 90s movies are wild. I love them so much.
That gave me like such a feel. I remember watching that. I think my school did like a school field trip to the movie theater for Matilda.
To watch Matilda?
Yeah. Like
wow.
it was a big deal.
Is there an uprising afterwards?
No, I don't think there was an uprising.
Because that was the whole point. That ended up being the point of Matilda, right? She basically she joined with her classmates, empowered her classmates to overtake her horrible teachers.
Well, and having was it telekinesis? Is that
I think she could control stuff with her brain. Yeah.
When you have telekinesis, it makes it a lot easier to start an uprising.
It does.
Nobody at North Park Elementary had telekinesis. I'll tell you that much.
Poll question: If you wanted to start an uprising, would it help to have telekinesis?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so for sure. Sorry, what were we going to say, Joey?
I was going to ask if there was like a musical for Matilda. I thought I remember seeing something musical-wise.
I think they did turn it into a musical.
Matilda the musical.
There's a
2010 musical composed by Tim Minchin.
There's an idea for you, Connor and Jackie.
I love musicals.
Just go to the musical whenever it's in Omaha.
Interesting.
If Matilda's in Omaha,
musicals?
I love musicals.
Okay, yeah. I like learned a few years ago. I randomly just bought us season tickets to the lead for the perform. Like, and so we saw Chicago, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Legally Blonde. I think Hamilton was part of it, which is why I ended up doing this. I famously didn't see the foul that was a foul, but was definitely a foul because I was at Book of Mormon.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago.
That was really Jack Mitchell. Were you there with Jack?
No.
Jack has missed so many different things because he was
in the lead center. Yeah. But he's never there for musicals. It's his daughter either has a performance or he's been asked to MC something, or his wife buys him tickets to go see like Yo-Yo Ma. And Nebraska beats the #1 team in the country.
Is that what it was?
No, I don't remember what. It wasn't Yo-Yo Ma. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Yo-Yo Ma.
That's so funny if it was. We're going to pretend like it was Yo-Yo Ma.
It'd be better if it was Yo-Yo Ma for sure.
No, I do love musicals.
But yeah, I actually really do enjoy them. And the Orpheum's great.
I don't know what they would do with the Matilda musical. I mean, I'm sure they would make it a great musical.
You could take any movie and make it a musical.
You definitely could.
It's not overly difficult for that.
Make it a little bit whimsical. Have a kid involved.
Now I want to. What's the Orpheum's? What's the schedule we got over here at the Orpheum for the?
That's a good question. They got some stuff going on right now. In fact, Ian, our boy Ian was just doing some stuff at the Rose.
Okay, I've never been to the Rose.
The Rose was always the place where we took the field trips to. Elementary school.
That's like a kids theater, I would say.
Probably more geared that way. Yeah,
it's more geared towards that.
Some interesting offerings over at the Orpheum this year. Death Becomes Her, Beetlejuice, Beauty and the Beast,
nice.
Phantom of the Opera,
nice.
The Great Gatsby, which I didn't know was a musical.
Sounds like it was for the Nebraska beating the #1 team in the country. Jack Mitchell was at the lead center. Sounds like it was Les Mis.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely is a lot funnier if it was Yo-Yo Ma.
Yeah, I'd much rather it was Yo-Yo Ma.
Hey, we should call Jack's show right now and be like, hey, Jack, remember that one time you missed the Purdue game because you went to Yo-Yo Ma? I'll hang up and listen. Thanks.
I have thought about if there was some way that when we were all together for that 1 week, if we could have incorporated our morning shows together.
Oh, man. Well, I'm sure we could have.
We could have, but now we can't.
Now we cannot.
Sworn enemies.
Sam McEwen will join us in just a little while. Sam McEwen asked a great question. that got many responses last night on Twitter, a question that we're just going to blatantly rip off and discuss for ourselves
before we talk to the man himself
right now. And then we'll probably ask Sam what his response is to his own question coming up in about 20 minutes. He writes, 6 Nebraska running backs have had more than 3,000 yards from scrimmage, rushing plus receiving, in the 2000s. Those 6 running backs, I think, would widely be considered the 6 best running backs since 2000. Here they are in alphabetical order. Amir Abdullah, Rex Burkhead, Roy Halou, Marlon Lucky, Emmett Johnson, Marlon Lucky, Corey Ross.
Yeah.
Rank them, he says.
So
this is fun. I enjoy this. And there's some recency bias that is attached to this because people, we saw Emmett Johnson do this just last year.
One of the things that I'm kind of fascinated by is how people remember players or certain players. And you see Corey Ross on this list, and I would imagine that would surprise some people. I'm sure he's on the bottom of a lot of the lists.
He's for sure bottom 1 or 2.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it's at for me as well. But then you go back, and he was pretty effective for Nebraska in 2004 when they really kind of needed him, when Joe Daly was your quarterback and you were floundering in a number of ways that year. I think Amir has to be 1 for me because I think he's the best and the most.
He was the most complete.
Yeah,
but
it's hard though because I think 1, 2, and 3. I think there's for me a very clear 1, 2, and 3. And the wild thing is that at the entire basically from 2009 to 2012, there's an intersection of
all of them.
That's just incredible.
Yeah.
Like you'd have 2 years of
it started with
Halou,
then Burkhead, and then
2
Amir.
years of Burkhead and Abdullah. Yeah. And it sort of worked great for all parties involved.
So let me stop you there. Emmett Johnson is not in that group.
No.
Gosh, you know what? Maybe this will just happen as time goes on. He was so good last year.
He was really good. He was really, really, really good. But
there was definitely times where I was like, "Ooh, is this Amir? Like he is doing some stuff right now."
So what happens though is Emmett lacks, through no fault of his own. It's because of the team context of it too. But he also doesn't have the moments where I can be like, Roy Halou, Missouri game 2010 was absolutely otherworldly.
Great point.
Roy Halou.
What is Emmett Johnson's game?
I don't know that there's you can either go the Maryland game because there's no way they win that game without what he's doing in that. You could probably say the UCLA game because those touchdowns along the sidelines with a freshman quarterback on the road against a team that you should have beaten anyways, but he gave you a much higher ceiling to be able to do that with. But those are kind of the 2 primary games that you can point at. He had some really nice runs against Iowa and Penn State and USC, but you lost all of those games. He played, I think, okay against Michigan. You lost that game too. I mean, some of it is just, the context of, I could sit here and be like, the 2012 Iowa game where Rex Burkhead basically had to have a million carries in the win to give Nebraska that win.
Let me help him out then. Because while you don't, and I'm looking at his game log from last year, man,
really good.
You remember he ran for 217 against Iowa?
I didn't know what the total number was, but I knew that
yards.
they threw for like 12 yards. So
29 carries for 217 yards.
That's incredible.
7.5 yards a carry. But so if I distilled it down to this, maybe this helps Emmett. Instead of coming up with the quintessential Emmett Johnson game, the Emmett Johnson game, can you come up with the Emmett Johnson play, the Emmett Johnson run? Because in each of those other running backs, I think you could think of, we know Amir's play against McNeese State. And I know it was against a McNeese State.
Like either that or my favorite Amir play is maybe the fourth down conversion that set up the Hail Mary against Northwestern.
Okay, that's a great one.
Because he basically had to make that an individual play to give you the chance for the Hail Mary.
He had a couple electric kick returns his freshman year. Like all these guys have, but that's his play. Amir's play is the McNeese one, I think. Right? I don't know. You can make an argument for a lot of different ones. Is Emmett Johnson's the one against UCLA last year, or is it the one against Maryland? The big long run against where he's tiptoeing the sidelines against UCLA.
I think it's UCLA.
I think so too, because but I don't know that we'll like remember that in 15 years.
I don't know that we're gonna remember. So it's funny. I'm like, Rex Burkhead had an outstanding career at Nebraska, but if you're like pick an individual play, and it's not with him, it's not the individual play, it's the consistency of all of it. It was always sort of being available to be there for everything.
Rex's was, what is the Rex play? I mean, it was basically the time in which they were so battered at quarterback that they just put him in at quarterback.
Which, if they would have just done that in the second half against Oklahoma, they win the Big 12 championship game.
Like we're
just
putting Rex under center.
Rex cat the entire time.
That's basically the Rex play, the set of Rex plays that I remember. So I don't know. I really want to put Emmett Johnson in that top 3, but like you said, Schaefer, I don't know if I can. Yeah. That doesn't make him bad, but and like I said, maybe in 5 years we'll think about him differently because things will have gotten worse or things will have gotten better. Or people will say in 10 years, they'll say, God, those teams were just so lean, but man, they did have some good players. And one of them was Emmett Johnson, or the only one was Emmett Johnson. I remember that year where they were watching Emmett Johnson.
Severe texted the Rex play is a touchdown against Ohio State.
Yeah, the many touchdowns at the very end.
Yeah. So that,
I think the particular one was when he juked at the one guy and ran along the sideline for the touchdown. I think that was the go ahead or the tying touchdown
in the Ohio State game.
Yeah, in 2011.
Yes, that's definitely.
He was so valuable in that game. Like again, 26 carries, 119 yards. So it's not like the most amazing stats wise there, but 5 catches, 59 yards. Like just
he threw a couple passes in that game, didn't he?
Not against Ohio State.
Okay.
But yeah,
they almost turned him into like a Marlon Lucky situation where they're like, here you go, we're going to toss it to you, go pass it.
So Lucky is 6 for me, but that's not a knock on him. It's just I would take the other guys over him. Emmett Johnson's 4th. The biggest thing is the order.
So I think
it's Amir, Rex, Roy, Emmett, Corey, Marlon.
I think I go Halu in front of Rex,
which I would not push back a ton strongly on. I really wouldn't, because Roy, I think Roy Halu gets sort of, I don't want to say forgotten about, but you forget how good he was.
It's funny,
because Rex became so instantly popular as soon as he was at Nebraska.
Yeah, I know
that it superseded. Famous. I mean, Roy Halu ran for 307 yards against Missouri.
I am looking at the comments right now, and almost everybody unanimously says Amir is first.
Yeah.
Which is sort of surprising. Like, I agree, but I didn't think everyone would have Amir first.
Yeah. To me, and some of it is like the last great season. He was your running back. Maybe that's a part of it. He also, when he got here, there was Aaron Green and there was Braylon Hurd, and he was clearly the best out of that group. Like, he's just always ascended to the top in a Nebraska context. The fact he's still bouncing around in the NFL probably helps a little bit with this too. But I mean, he was really good.
Got a couple of tweets and texts from you all, but let's take a phone call. Phone eats first on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Here is Nate this morning. Hey, Nate, what's up?
Hi, my friends. Now, I got in here right after you dropped the initial tagline. What is the criteria of this list? Are we talking about best since 2000? Is that kind of sounds what we're doing here?
Correct.
All of these players had over 3,000 yards, and they're the only
3,000 yards from scrimmage since 2000, and the options were those 6.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, I like Emmett. Nothing about. I mean, he has to be at the bottom of the list for me. I mean, like, the most uninteresting but steady back in the history of Nebraska football. Emmett Johnson isn't even a walk-on in the 80s. I'm not even talking about the 90s when you had like NFL running backs just coming out of here like crap through a goose. Okay. Like, I'm taking Corey. First of all, Corey Ross is probably the best all-purpose, all-around running back we've had since 2000. Like, and maybe that's a function of the eye test. Maybe that's a function of the team around him was still pretty much, top 5 national level talent that just kind of screwed the pooch on game day. So Corey didn't stand out as much. Corey Ross was a gamer. Of all the running backs who played since 2000, 2001, because Buckhalter and Alexander were in there in 2000. But if you go past 2001, the only running back besides Corey Ross that makes it in the 90s and the 80s is Marlon Lucky. Like, sorry, not sorry. Hulu is not that great. They had NFL caliber offensive line. They still had the pipeline. I mean, literally. So to me, the Emmett Johnson thing is a function of things have gotten so bad here. We're trying to stay positive and hunt the good. So we're going to treat this C-plus player that probably should be like a 73, 75 on NCAA football as if he's a 90-something because we need to hang a jersey on somebody.
Well, okay, Nate, hang on. I ranked him 4th to be clear here out of the 6. I mean, I don't think that's that crazy. I don't think that I've heard anybody.
So who did you have behind him? Who was behind him?
Ross and Lucky, who you just mentioned.
Oh God, Marlon Lucky is like skill set, talent wise, best pass catching back in team.
So what are you doing with Amir, Roy Halou, and Rex Burkhead?
My order with those 6, and I can only use those 6. I can't go, hey, this guy didn't hit 3,000, but he's great in this time frame.
Right, correct.
Is that correct? Okay. So if I've only got those 6, so I've got Lucky, Halou, Ross, Burkhead, Johnson. Who's the 6th?
Amir.
Okay. So in that order, I am taking Amir, 1, because of his game-breaking ability that none of those guys had. Amir is a game breaker, period.
Agreed.
And as you pointed out, he is always going to find a way to rise to the top. After that, I'm probably taking Corey. I'm probably then taking Lucky. I'm probably then taking Helu. I was never completely sold on Rex beyond his working man blue collar thing, so I'll put Rex at 5. And Rex was a better NFL back than college back because of his blocking and pass catching. Rex was far better in the league than he was here, I think. And then I definitely put Emmett last. I mean, Emmett is only a function of the system that we've had to rely on because we keep having problems on the line or behind center. I mean, like, normal world, normal team, Emmett is probably not starting.
It's that's possible, but you can't deny the production.
I mean, he averaged nearly 6 yards a carry, which is better than Burkhead's best season.
I can't deny George Blanda's production because he played for 50 years and got all the kicks. I'm not going to say George Blanda is a top 10 kicker of all time. Sometimes, and this is the LeBron argument, sometimes longevity and opportunity exceeds the potential for greatness and the sum of the talent. You had to feed Emmett. You did not have another option. If you give Corey Ross the same number of carries with his team and the same opportunities with his team against the same exceptionally weak competition that Emmett has played against in the last 4 years, maybe even last year, the easiest schedule in school history, you're going to see a greater result. I can say that about the other 5 completely. And here's the rub, man. Like, ultimately, if Nebraska has a game-breaking, or even let's say if Nebraska has a B-plus quarterback and a B-plus to A- offensive line, you're telling me that you would not rather have had the speed and burst and elusivity of some of the other guys on the roster sitting behind Emmett? Emmett got to play because Emmett was the only option relational to what we had. Emmett is not better than some of those guys that sit behind him in normal circumstances. I'm telling you, he is slow. He is turtle slow compared to the other players on that running back room last year.
Okay.
He is not elusive.
Nate, let's talk about this. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Okay. So Emmett Johnson, I made the claim last year that Emmett Johnson, like, there are a bunch of Emmett Johnsons, right? Emmett Johnson was really, really good when he got the opportunity at Nebraska, and this is basically Nate's point, right? This is what he's saying. At the same time, I watched it happen. I watched it happen. I watched him, throw off missed. I watched it. If you're giving him credit, if you're giving guys like Marlon Lucky and Corey Ross credit for having for doing what they did in the time that they did it, you also have to give Emmett Johnson extra credit for having his crap offensive team around him and him being literally the only option. Like, so that should give him some points as well. You could spin it whichever way you want to spin it. He's certainly spinning it toward the idea of, I just want to go off of pure talent or who I enjoyed, sort of watching, I guess, the most. I do think production really matters when you're having a discussion like this. Also, it's a list and it doesn't really matter. But, like.
I mean, he had 1,800 nearly.
He was really good.
He had more than 1,800 yards on nearly 300 touches. Like, they had to utilize him, but he was productive inside of that. It's not like a Javon Ringer. You're going to load him up with a bunch of carries and he's going to get 3.5 yards per carry. He averaged 5.8 last year on 251 carries.
Yeah.
Like, that's really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
And this is kind of what Nate's getting at, though. Like, we all watched it. We saw it happen. Right. We saw him. We saw him break tackles. We saw him make guys miss. We saw him break runs. That was one of the things that we were curious about going into last year. Does he have this top end breakaway speed? Like, does he have this? Does he have this? He answered all those questions in the affirmative last year. Like, he did.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to put him up there with one of the greats. He had a great season. Do you want a jaw-dropping number?
Sure.
Javon Ringer had 390 carries in his senior year of college.
Javon Ringer. And he was
Michigan State.
Yeah, he was splitting with Jared Colcrick, I believe his name was.
TJ Duckett must have been a few years before that.
Yeah.
He basically, I think the year that he was splitting would have been 2007 because he only had 245. 390 carries.
That's a lot of running the football.
That's more than most teams run the ball as a team now.
That was Big Ten. And what year was this? 2007? 8? Yeah. They were running the football. There's no doubt about that.
No doubt.
Here is why did you say that, by the way?
Because I mentioned the reason that stands out, like he totals up all these yards. Well, he had 390 carries, so yards per carry is actually only like 4. So there's lots of ways to get to production. Emmett Johnson nearly running for 6 yards a carry on 251 carries. Yeah, he got loaded up, but he was also really productive while doing it.
People are wondering who Roy Helu is. Roy Helium. Any of those different things. Aaron writes in, he says, EJ got better. He was a game breaker last year. He didn't have crap last year. Everyone knew he was going to have the ball and had a guy in the backfield every game. EJ was also the best bet to be good in the NFL because he knows how to get 3 or 4 yards with no hole. That's the entire NFL. Yeah, no, I just, you're taking too much. Admittedly, like, I get it. I understand what people are saying when they're like, I just can't put Emmett Johnson up there because of this, and this. I get what you're saying. But I mean, we watched it happen last year. If you're saying this still to this day about Emmett Johnson, you're going off of your preconceived notion before last year.
Sure.
Which is understandable because I said, I just don't like. I don't know. You're going to need some help. You're going to need more than just Emmett Johnson. It turns out they
needed more than just Emmett Johnson, but it wasn't, for the lack of Emmett Johnson either.
Right. And I was specifically talking about at that position.
Sure.
But they didn't. They really didn't need that. And so he answered all the bells on all the questions that we had about him last year. And I do think he'll stick around in the NFL for a while. And some of that is just situation.
Right.
Amir, it was the same thing with Amir.
Is it fair to say that when I have him behind Abdullah, Burkhead, and Roy Helu, those guys are more complete running backs than Emmett Johnson? Would you agree with that statement?
Amir, Burkhead, and Helu were more complete.
Yeah.
I mean, Emmett was complete. I just think he was worse. I just didn't think he was as good.
I guess another way to phrase it, then, I feel like they were better. Like, I would take Burkhead between the tackles over, Emmett Johnson. Like, you break down the skills of it. I just think those three just stand out. Like, to me, there's a tier gap there of those top three, and then a gap, and then you get to Emmett and everything that follows.
Yeah, I thought that Nate was trying to make a case for Corey Ross to be number one at the beginning of his call. I love
Corey Ross. He is not number one.
I don't believe
Corey Ross would not put himself number one.
I don't believe so.
Actually, that's not true. He probably would.
And I also don't think Marlon Lucky was number one.
He's a clear 6.
Another one of his points was like, Corey Ross and Marlon Lucky are the only two that would have played in the 90s. I think that's something he said.
Which is weird because I think Amir Abdullah would have played in the 90s. Rex Burkhead would have played in the 90s. Yeah. Roy Helu would have played in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Emmett Johnson has a tougher time given that he's the least respected out of all of those guys from a recruiting standpoint.
Right.
He had to come from further behind than all of them. But there's also the element where that guy made himself into what he was last season. I'm not going to take that away from him.
Let's take a break. We'll ask the guy who posed the question himself, Sam McEwen, his own question right after this on 1620 The Zone.
Good luck with that, Dan.
Welcome back. Happer and Schaefer. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our dear friend, Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald. Hi, Sam. What's going on?
What's going on? It's about 9,000 degrees outside already.
Yeah, it's 8:30 in the morning, and you're telling me it's already 9,000 degrees? Because I think we got up to about 11,000 yesterday.
It's getting at least that today. I mean, the lawns have actually loved this weather up until about right now, right? Like all the rain. And
now we're on the dry side.
Like the rainforest. Now it's going to get rough.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it feels like the dog days of summer, and that's what it is. We're still a couple weeks out from Big Ten Media Days and all that, but yeah, I'm good.
And during the dog days of summer, people pose interesting questions on social media. I saw this one floating around. I don't know who posed it. It was something like 6 Nebraska running backs have had 3,000 yards from scrimmage in the 2000s. Rank them. Amir Abdullah, Rex Burkhead, Roy Halou, Marlon Lucky, Corey Ross, and Emmett Johnson. Who's this tweet? Oh, it says it's by Sam McEwen. Okay, so you didn't answer your own question. This is what I'm most miffed about. You have to actually answer this question now for us.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that Amir is number one on that list for me.
Agreed.
Then it would be then honestly, I was a big Roy Halou guy, so I think Roy Halou is really good. Roy, Rex, Emmett, Marlon, Lucky, and then Corey Ross.
Yeah.
That'd be the list. Now, all those guys are great, but that would be my rank.
I don't think that's far off from what most people have.
Yeah, it's like up there.
We just had someone call in and tried to defame the career of Emmett Johnson when we weren't really. They tried to put him 6th, and we weren't really having it, but we couldn't put him much higher than 4th.
I feel like there's a tier gap between the Amir, Rex, Roy, and then everything else that follows. Is that sort of how you would see it as well?
A lot of the respondents did not see Roy Halou as in the top 3.
That's crazy.
So I think they did. They saw Emmett as 3 or Emmett as 2, and then Roy was 4th or 5th. I would say that yes. I think that was a golden era of Husker running backs from 2008. Right. Halou played in 2007 too, but Lucky, Halou, Burkhead, Amir, that was like 2007 or 2006 to 2014. That was a pretty terrific era of Nebraska running backs. And so, yeah, I would probably have a tier there. Obviously Rex's injury in 2012 affected his career numbers. If he doesn't get hurt against Southern Mississippi, he's probably a 1,600-yard running back that year, and Amir's 600. As it turned out, I think Amir had 1,000, and I can't remember what Rex had, 800 or something like that. So, the injury affected his tenure a little bit. He got hurt twice in his career, and he missed whole chunks of 2 seasons. But yeah, for sure. Now in the pros, Rex is probably the best pro of the bunch. Although Amir has lasted the longest, I think Rex is probably the most productive overall in the time that he played. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, Emmett may change that conversation. I think now if he goes to the pros and he's really, really good there, it will change the way we look at his college career. It maybe shouldn't, but it often does because Emmett's situation was he was the same back in a lot of ways, and coaches didn't necessarily believe in him as much as they should have. And I understand that they wanted him to get better as a player. I get all that. I understand that. But I thought Emmett was the best running back on the team in 23. And it took him really until the end of the 24 season to play a lot. Now, I am not trying to knock position coaches or anything. I am telling you that Dana Holgerson came in and said and made a choice and said, this is the guy we're going to use. So that's what we're going to do, and that's what we're going to do. So he had something to do, and Emmett thanked him in his mess. Like, he had something to do with Johnson being where he's at now. even though Johnson obviously developed a lot in the 4 years he was on campus.
That 07 to 14, like you said, it really had me thinking, okay, during that time, this is just how it's going to be. Nebraska's just always going to have a really good running back. Well, since then, they've had 2 running backs go over 1,000 yards in any individual season. Zigbo and then EJ last year. Where is the in between? Where does this need to land for the expectation for Nebraska running backs?
Well, I mean, if you're just looking at this year and just going forward, I do like what they've got going, and I do think 1,000 yards is a good benchmark for the kind of offense Nebraska wants to run, or 1,200, 1,300 rushing and receiving yards. So, I think this is a good benchmark for where they want to go going forward. I'm not saying that they're going to have a Burkhead or an Abdullah, but I do think they can get production out of that role. I do like the room right now. We obviously don't know anything about Mekhi Nelson's status. Charges have been dropped, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to play. We'll find out more, I assume, as the weeks go on. Two of the other guys, one of the other guys in the room is a converted wide receiver, and I think he's still getting there as a running back. Jamal Rule's the real deal, for sure. And then you have Tyke Hayes, who just joined the team, and we don't know much about him. I just watched, 25 minutes of highlight tape last night, and 25 minutes of highlight tape is somewhere around 200 or 300 plays, so it's not nothing. And, they got a good player there. I don't know exactly what he's going to do or be this year, but he is physical, and he does pack a punch when he runs. Like he runs downhill, and you don't want to tackle. So Barthel did a really good job there, getting the pick up there.
It's kind of interesting, like with EJ Barthel, when he was at UConn prior to Nebraska, they had sort of a running back committee approach, or it was spread out quite a bit the first couple of years, spread out among several running backs. And then last year with Dana Holgerson calling things, it was a loaded up Emmett Johnson, in large part because there wasn't another great option. Do you think that we're more likely to see the spread out approach, multiple carries across 3-4 guys going forward? Or do you think they want to go back to having kind of a lead back, if you would?
I think spread out is probably where it'll land this year. I think if you get Saquon Barkley, then you ride Saquon Barkley, and some of it is the player you're able to get, what he's able to do. If one guy emerges as an elite player, then you use that elite player. And that's probably what Holgerson would do. If you get 2 or 3 elite guys at the same time, maybe you can spread it out too. But I think it'll be spread out this year, because I don't know that anybody is going to just run away with the job. I think they all kind of have different skill sets, and I think you're going to see different guys doing different things. The guy that just got challenged with Tyke Hayes signing, it wasn't actually Mekhi Nelson. Nelson's situation is its own thing. It was Quentin Ives.
Yeah.
Because Tyke Hayes, he is a short yardage running back. He is Dante Dowdell. They went and got a Dante Dowdell, not a clone, but he's close. He's 6 foot. He's 215. He packs a punch. He's downhill. Quentin Ives now has competition for that short yardage job. So that's what changed yesterday. I don't know that the Mekhi Nelson situation changed with Hayes. I know that was out there on Twitter. Well, this means Mekhi Nelson. And maybe that, but the situation with Mekhi, I think, is separate of all of that. I think they went out and got a short yardage back, is what they did. And Mekhi was not that. He was going to be, if he plays, he's going to be a, outside the backfield, catch the football, first down running back, home run hitter kind of player, kind of like an Emmett, but maybe not playing as much as Emmett did. They want someone else to run the ball on third down than Emmett. I mean, that was obvious. I've had conversations with people, I'm sure you guys have too. If they had a big back last year they could have used, they would have brought that player in on third and fourth and short. Dante Dowdell was missed in that regard last year. He was a one-trick pony a little bit, but the trick that he had was really helpful to Nebraska in 24, and it would have been helpful last year. Maybe they win a game, Michigan, maybe, if he's on the team. I'm not kidding. So they felt really strongly about going out and getting a big power back
This to me indicates they are going to find a power back between Ives and Hayes. They're not going to leave it to just one guy. They're going to let those two guys compete for that job.
You mentioned if you have a Saquon Barkley, you load him up. Is it part of the problem with the committee that you don't actually know what you have? Like, it took them 3 years to learn what Emmett Johnson actually was because of how they utilize things in 23 and 24. And so if you don't give someone that opportunity to continually prove to you that they can be that guy, you don't necessarily know if you have a guy.
It's a great point, and it's certainly the balance that has to be struck. You don't. Sometimes a guy needs 20 to 25 carries to really get going and to find his groove. There's some guys you put them in there for 5 carries, and that's not enough. They needed 20 in order to figure out. And there's guys like Maurice Washington, who if you had 5 carries, he might take one of them for 70. The other 4 might add up to 0 yards. But you're putting him in there because one carry might get you everything you want. So there are guys like that where you're like, we're going to put this guy in. We're going to run a rocket route, which is the wheel route. We're going to run a rocket route with this guy, and if he beats his man, he's going for 6. Sometimes you do that and you live with it. But then there's guys that get better as the game goes on. So the one area where I think again Emmett was not their ideal running back was 3rd and short, 4th and short. They would have liked to have been able to trot him off the field and trot someone else onto it and just let that guy absorb the punishment. Emmett was really good at not absorbing punishment, but sometimes in short yardage, you actually have to invite it.
Yep.
And you just got to go in there and get the yard. And Emmett was really good at avoiding that contact, but any inch or fraction of motion that you take away from forward motion on 3rd and 4th and short hurts your chances of converting the play. So anyway, I'm getting into the weeds, but yeah, you're absolutely right. You have to find a way to find the balance if you've got the guy. I think it's going to be really interesting when Jamal is a sophomore. Amir Brown comes in. Amir Brown's got a lot of talent. Tyke Hayes has got a lot of talent. Tyke Hayes is a very, very good downhill, no nonsense. You don't really want to tackle him runner. And I think it's a nice pickup for them. And so Barthel's done a really nice job of setting that room up the way that he wants it. Now he's going to have to figure out, how he wants to set it up and who's going to play. They got the same dilemma at receiver where they probably have 6 guys and you can't really rotate 6 guys. You can rotate 4, 5. They're going to have to figure out a way to, but at some point you want to ride a hot hand as a receiver. You can't just be running guys in for a route and then running them out. Right. So they have a challenge at running back and a challenge at receiver, and I'm excited to see how they tackle.
Yeah, can't wait to start answering those questions coming up in just a couple weeks. All right, Sam, we'll let you go. Always appreciate it. Thanks for posing the question out there. It's got some fascinating responses. We'll talk to you later.
Take care.
Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald. We'll take a quick time out. We'll come back. Maybe a round or two, a topic or two from free balling.
Free balling.
Isn't that what we're calling it?
Yeah, we're not reading the defense. We're just out here free balling.
Thank you, Julian Lewis. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. Sometimes there's topics and you don't know what to do with them, so you don't read the defense. You just
free balling.
You just free ball it, And that's what we have right here for this segment. It's not really like any other segment that you've ever heard.
No, this is new.
It's very different.
It's a new name. It's a rebrand of a name that we came up with.
Not a rebrand, Joey. It's completely and utterly
not
created, and nobody has ever done anything like what we're about to do.
Do not put it on the internet that it is a rebrand. And by the way, stay tuned for
it's not a reset.
The end of the show, because the last segment of the show is now called accountability.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't know how much accountability we've needed to have.
Find something you need to be held accountable for today.
Well, there's one for me. There's the usual for Schaefer.
Did he forget? How many?
Usually the microphone turning
He
on.
was pretty good today.
Well, I haven't started to speak before the microphone was on.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And there's times where Joey just preemptively turns it on before I ever have to.
I just watch you. I watch you, and I have my hand over your microphone.
We'll all share our accountabilities.
Yes.
We'll have that opportunity in an hour.
Well, let's free ball first.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, is Tony Bettini the new commissioner of FIFA? Because apparently the organization in charge of the World Cup is considering another round of expansion. 64 teams is what I've been seeing. Is any sport safe from the disease of more?
No.
At this point, we're just every tournament that's ever existed is being doubled.
Yeah. Yep. Do you think it made that big of a difference from a viewership because this is all being done for TV, right? Do you think it makes that big of a difference from a viewership standpoint, the difference between the tournament rounds and the pool rounds?
It certainly makes
obviously you get more games that are meaningful, right? Because the pool games, some of the last round of the pool games, some of those just don't matter at all, right? There's no reason to care or watch them.
Some of it to me, and I don't know, Joey, it was as locked in as anybody I know with the World Cup, but some of it to me compared to previous years is because you have more teams and it's spread out, you have far less group of deaths. There's far less chances of this game meaning in or out. Yeah, there was certainly some of that at the end of it, but the quality of those teams were a little bit less than what it used to be as well.
Sure.
So you've kind of watered this whole thing down to the point of it's obviously, if you go to 64 teams,
that's gonna be a 2-month event now.
It's pretty watery.
But you would have to take none of it really matters until you make it to the quarterfinals. So if you make it in the 64 100%. Team and then you go to the 32 team tournament and it's kind of like the US win against Bosnia, it's great. It didn't mean as much as when you beat Mexico to go to the quarterfinals and you still ended your season in the same spot where you tend to end your season, your World Cup run.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just if they go to 64, the quality of the early games is going to be so much worse.
Here's the thing.
They don't care.
Correct.
It gives what the TV people want, which is they're going to have viewership for it.
They don't care, and I don't care.
Well, I know you don't care
because I won't start watching until it gets
ignore
really important.
As much as you were already going to ignore, and it just means more games will be ignored by you.
Precisely.
And Joey will watch as much as Joey will watch because Joey will just watch more games.
It'll be more games on Telemundo.
More for that
me,
one guy.
A lot of it is just the standard of which what is considered a success gets moved a little.
There's no doubt about it. All right, let's do one more quick one.
The British Open returns on Thursday with the action at Royal Birkdale. Does Scotty Scheffler gets his first major win of 2026, or are you taking the field?
Did you see Scotty's quote?
No.
His quote yesterday. Remember last year where he was asked about this existential question and he was like, nothing matters and whatever. So same guy, I guess, comes back this year, asks the same stupid set of questions. It was like, have you ever thought about your legacy and what happens after you die? And he was laughing because he remembers what he said last year. And he goes, we're all going to die. He goes, last year I said, nothing matters. This year, Scotty Scheffler, we're all going to die. Yeah. And there was a good line about it. Sure. Give me Scotty. I like Scotty. He's one of the golfers that hasn't rubbed me the wrong way.
This feels like he's going to win and he's going to run away with it.
Okay. Let's go.
Like Scotty by 3 strokes or more.
I'll join you on that. Let's party. Me, you, and Scotty. Scotty Scheffler winning the Open Championship. in the Crystal Chalice coming up this weekend. All right, let's take a quick break. We got the 9 o'clock hour. Lauren Michelson still set to join. Wanted to come on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone.
Hi, everybody. Howdy, County here.
In a text from the text line 402-951-1620. This is from the 402 Crystal Chalice. We're gonna have to throw that one in accountability for me today. Did I think that the British Open trophy was called the Crystal Chalice? Yes, I did.
When you said it, I was like, there's something about it, but I didn't think any more on it. And then, as I told you during the break, I would often get the claret jug and the little brown jug.
What was I talking about? What is the Crystal
Well,
Chalice?
I looked it up, and I mean, you can buy one, but there's no trophy that appears to be, that.
I don't see anything that.
How do you win the Crystal Chalice?
The Crystal Chalice is not a thing.
What is AI going to tell you?
That is what does Al say about this one?
Well, it's involved in Honkai Star Rail, a video game.
Played the fifth on that one.
So you've got to solve a puzzle. And I have never heard of Honkai Star Rail.
Of course, what I meant was the claret jug. Which I didn't know that. I guess I don't know. I'm imagining the person holding up the trophy, and it doesn't seem very juggy to me. It doesn't seem like a jug.
Juggy just makes me think of the Man Show and being like 12 years old. So
yeah.
The claret jug is a great trophy, though. Like,
it'd be a lot cooler if it was a Crystal Chalice.
Sounds like a bold question.
I think it really would be. John writes in, he says, there is an English soccer club called Crystal Palace.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Why would I have been thinking of that?
You wouldn't have.
I've heard of that.
More about this Honkai Star Rail.
Pedro says maybe Connor was thinking about the little brown jug. That's what Schaefer.
And that's what I would get confused with the claret jug. Little brown jug, is that Michigan and Minnesota?
I believe.
That sounds right.
The other Dave writes in on YouTube, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Chalice. That sounds like it's
Harrison Ford signed up for that.
Yeah, Depot says perhaps you were thinking of Crystal Palace, the Premier League. The Premier League. No, I was thinking of cool trophy sounds, and Crystal Chalice is one of them.
The little brown jug was actually a racehorse, too.
Wow.
There's apparently it was a song. Little Brown Jug has a lot more going for it than just Michigan, Minnesota.
If we ever need an award to do for something, can it please be the Crystal Chalice?
Yeah.
Is Schaefer going to nominate you for the Crystal Chalice?
I got it. Please do, by the way, but only on merit, only if you want to. There's talk about a golf tournament coming soon.
We award the winning team the Crystal Chalice.
Uh-huh.
I like it. I was actually thinking one of the pitches I was going to make is in December, ripping off of the ESPYs. We have the 1620s, and we give out awards, and you can award the Crystal Chalice for one of the winners.
Okay.
Whatever the
best award.
Yeah. And I don't know what our awards would be. Some of it is like
worst food take.
We could more or
That's a
less
good one.
Let people vote on it, and we submit our best crossover. So I guess Matt would sort of be involved in both of them, as he is the crossover.
That's
man.
true. And then the other ones are
crossover.
The other two shows are split. In
We
half.
really should try to figure out what our best crossover is.
In order to do that, we would need more people like Joey who just save things.
Yeah, but Joey is
only
our
one
secret
man.
weapon here.
That's true. Joey's the best documenter of any of the producers by far.
I have to save this for accountability for what I was going to say.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you could let it rip if you want to. Did you screw something up?
No, I haven't watched a whole lot of crossovers because I'm doing post-production work for this show.
But you document the things that we do, which is like 75% of the battle. Right?
I mean,
I forget everything that we
That is
do
true.
24 hours later.
Yeah.
So
that is true.
Maybe less.
I guess anything related to the crossover is what I was meaning.
Right.
Anything for this show, I'm pretty good with.
I have the thing that Drew Barrymore had in 51st Dates.
Okay.
My brain just erases every day.
Did you just really want to talk about 51st Dates?
I do. I love that movie.
I don't know that there's a radio show that we've done together across the now 3 iterations of it, or if I've ever filled in with you, where you haven't managed to work 50 First Dates into one of the shows.
What a movie. Shout out Sandler.
Yeah, you love 50 First Dates.
I've watched it a lot. I've watched it way too many
I was
times.
listening to two people discuss rewatching movies, and it made me wonder, like, what movie I've seen the most in my life.
I've wondered
Again,
about
one of
this
these
forever.
stats that you wish that, like, you could just click into Life Bio and it'd be like, what movie? And I mean start to finish. I don't mean
Agreed.
you see it because, like,
How
we've
many
all seen-
sandwiches have I eaten? How many times have I gone to the bathroom?
I had one the other day. I want to know how many golf balls I have lost in my life, because it would be a disgustingly high number, and then it might make me quit the sport altogether.
Because you'll realize how much money.
Well, yeah, if you assign a monetary now, and I don't always play with high-end golf balls, so like there's not going to be the same cost across the board. But if you put an average cost of golf ball loss, I'm sure I'm in the thousands. Like it would be disgusting.
Yeah. And then you've gotten free
I've
ones
been going all
that
the way
have been
back to when I
lost.
was like 6 years old and playing golf, and I lost less then because I couldn't hit it as far, but still, at least in the last 20 years of life, I have lost a significant amount of golf.
It's a lot of days, man. How many days is like 35 years? Let's see.
So
12 more than 12,000 days.
Yeah, that's a lot of days.
We're talking about, 15,000 days, getting close. That's a lot of stuff to do in the 15,000 days.
And we don't have any of these stats. Nobody keeps them.
We have some listeners who are in their 60s, and actually there was a guy who was in his 70s or 80s or something like that. So 70 years is 25,000 days.
Wow.
25,000 days. Just imagine how many sandwiches you've eaten in that period of time.
How many golf balls that you might have lost.
How many golf balls you may have lost, and how many golf balls you're still going to lose.
Now, some people might be like, what about the golf balls that you find? Does that even it out? Does that,
you can do it that way.
Yeah, but if you're not, I don't always play the golf balls that I find.
Did you follow any of the stuff that was going on at Michigan yesterday?
Other than the AD just, saying he wants to keep his job and his heart is with Michigan and some other blathering stuff.
So there was a bunch of different reports going around yesterday. Basically what it feels like if you put all this stuff together is that there is a lot of different stories here on just the chain of command and who knew what involving the whole Sharon Moore saga. A lot of different reporting going on, and it feels like a variety of people who are involved in the situation have varying stories.
Mm-hmm.
And so from the outside looking in, I'm like, ooh, this thing's kind of falling apart here. I don't know what the next step is. The regents, there was that regents meeting, remember, that we're going to talk about Ward Manuel's future. And, part of the investigation, that the internal investigation that they were doing was related to the Sharon Moore situation. And what they did was they did something very, very sneaky. They didn't have the actual written documents that they were going through in the Board of Regents meeting, so they wouldn't have to submit them for public record. And they just verbally talked about it during the meeting so that they didn't have to submit any of these things for the record, which is great. There was a report yesterday from Wall Street Journal from Rachel Bachman, who said a year before Michigan football coach Sharon Moore was fired for an inappropriate relationship with the staff member, the school's athletic director told him not to travel with her, according to a law firm investigation. So that points to Ward Manuel knowing about the relationship that Sharon Moore had with this woman long before he was fired.
And she has been very, very vocal about, from the beginning, everyone over there knew about her. Everyone knew their involvement. Everyone knew everything.
Kind of seems that way.
Yeah, and it's going to be relatively hard for some people to pull themselves away from.
Sort of a through line throughout this entire, all this Michigan stuff, whether it's the Connor Stallions thing or whatever. It's like you ask someone and they say, oh yeah, I don't know really what you're talking about. But then you ask people anonymously and it was like, oh yeah, this was just, everybody knew about this.
Yeah.
Everybody knew what was going on, and there were certain rules to prevent it from getting out. It's called a cover-up. That's
Right.
what that is.
And I don't want to I like to make fun of Michigan. I like to sort of grave dance as it relates to Michigan in large part because of how they hold themselves above everything. And it turns out that not only are they in the fray, they might be, the trashiest of trash when it comes to being in the fray. This happens in other athletic departments too. Nebraska has their own subset of things that have occurred in this timeline. It's the difference is how much has happened under one regime and how much just gets swept under the rug and ignored because it's Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of, to me, the difference in all
how much gets covered up, how much gets pushed off to the side, how much is, and like you said, all this has happened.
And the
under
sheer
Ward
totality
watch.
of it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You have,
there was a list going around yesterday.
No shortage of scandals that extend from borderline volunteers all the way up to head coaches, like your football head coaches and several of them. And then you have things like the former offensive coordinator who's stealing personal information and photos and video and all of it.
That the entire time that story has been happening underneath the surface of all of this. Which is
what led to the sign stealing thing being exposed for as much as it was. And then you have like hilariously stupid things in there, like Juwan Howard just being a complete and utter loose cannon as a head coach. So you have like that aspect of all of it. There's stuff involving the wrestling and the gymnastics teams and everything else. Like it is all encompassing of an athletic department that does not seem to have a ton of institutional control.
Yeah, that's always the term that gets thrown out there. It's like, okay, we have to evaluate you under the prism of is there institutional control? And you know what? It's funny. It feels like there is institutional control, but it was all geared in a way to make all this stuff go away.
There's controlling the message and making sure that you don't receive any of it.
So speaking of that, a statement from Michigan from yesterday to Front Office Sports. does not plan to release anything this week related to the athletics investigation, and Ward Manuel remains our athletic director. We have no comment on any rumors about his future. That is the statement that Michigan put out yesterday. So it seems like, even though that there was momentum building on the outside for Ward Manuel to be finally ousted from his job, it seems like Michigan is sticking with their tried and true plan of let's push this under the rug and see if it goes away. And they might win again. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean, ultimately they'll win enough on the field that people will ignore everything that's happening off of it.
Yeah, well, the football season will start.
Yeah.
That will indeed happen very, very soon. I wanted to bring up a couple more things. By the way, 52 days until Nebraska football. Ooh. So shout out to our guy, Dave Fight, who's got the list going.
What do we got there?
So 52s. We got Tom Davis, who he says is the best. Also worn by Josh Banderas.
It's the first one I thought of.
Joe Buda, Trey DeLoach, Philip Dillard,
yep,
Roger Fitzke, John Garrison, Ken Graber, Leroy Lucas, Mosai Newsom, Tiffin, Iowa, Aaron Penland, Matt Penland, Dick Prussia, and Dwayne Sack. I hope he was a linebacker.
Not an offensive
He's
lineman.
Mr. Sack.
Yeah. Sack strikes again.
There you go. Those are your number 52s. 52.
Yeah, Banderas and Dillard were the two that came to mind for me. I forgot about John Garrison being number 52.
Philip Dillard. Nice. That was did he always wear 52 or was he
Great question.
I feel like he changed a number somewhere along the way.
He's one of those guys that his career wasn't as great as what you would have hoped it would have been, but then by his senior year when it all came together,
he's got some production.
He was really good.
Yeah, it's weird. All right, so there you go. 52 days until the first game. So only 52 more days until Michigan has to continue to put off what they're putting off. We'll take a quick timeout. Lauren Michelson will join us on the other side, and we have many, many things to talk about. Local stories with Lauren up next on 1620 The Zone.
Lauren Michelson.
I'm hoping you guys can wake me up a little bit this morning.
Lauren Michelson.
I will not feel bad for any of you in Omaha.
Lauren Michelson.
So whenever, hits the fan.
Lauren Michelson. KETV Channel 7.
No other thing I'd rather be doing at 9:15, 9:20 in the morning than talking to you two.
Lauren Michelson on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone.
I am ready to get the heck out of here.
And we are joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our good friend Lauren Michelson from KETV. Lauren, hello. How are you?
Yeah. I'm sorry. What are your guys' names? Who are you?
This is Mike. Mike, say something.
Hello, Lauren. I'm Mike.
Do
you recognize that voice?
Yes, it is so great to be chatting with you two again. It's been too long.
Okay, all right, Lauren. So I'm going to go back to my notebook here. I have questions from June 26th.
We have run into some things over the last couple of weeks. Do you want to tease what you were doing last week? Are you ready to? Is that coming out soon, or is that out? Did I miss it? What's going on?
Yeah, I've been kind of slacking on the social media front lately, getting stories up. Like on my socials, at least, Shayla Rottenberg did air.
Okay, sorry.
Online, that's okay. It's me. I'm not putting out my work because I'm still kind of in summer mode. But I'll share that. Yeah, she was great. I mean, volleyball. Oh my gosh, there's so much we can unpack with volleyball right now. Even just with Nebraska, I caught up with Andy Jackson and Bergen at a camp yesterday, and that's another story we can get into. But Shayla's great. I mean, she's a Milford Rising junior. She's 6'4". She is a freak of an athlete, as humble as they come, and is committed to Nebraska. So she'll be in that 2028 class, and as a middle blocker, she's competing with USA right now this summer and just doing all the things. So she's a great story. Her mom was an All-American, helped Nebraska to a national championship. And I mean, it's like Danny Buston-Kelly and this team is continuing to find ways to better the roster. Like right when you think they've gotten the best players, they keep it going, which is really great.
Lauren, we were asking Andy about this because the travel schedule with everything Nebraska has going on with basketball, having success, all of it. You have the volleyball matches coming up. Do you already know? Are you headed to Wrigley Field? Are you going to Vegas? Do you have like a big trip coming up for volleyball?
Yeah, I think I'm going to Wrigley. We're trying to figure out they want to go to more. They want to do Dallas even. So we're just kind of trying to organize how much we want to do. It's impossible to be. I mean, I thought it would be impossible to be at everything, but I will say KTV, like our general manager, is very much so investing in the volleyball travel, which I think is a good thing because obviously people care. So we're still waiting to see a little bit exactly who is going where, and because we do have to mix in football travel and what schedules look like. And oh yeah, we still have a big Friday night football show we do in season. So it's going to be a somehow an even busier fall than normal, but that is okay.
Yeah. And right now it's a little bit of, sort of whatever comes up. We were talking about with Andy last week. It was like, yeah, kind of whatever floats your boat around this time of the year. We're starting to see a little bit. I mean, we'll have media days in a couple weeks. There's been basketball availabilities and practices to attend. What has got your attention in this dull time of the summer?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I think they're airing the promo, so I can talk about it. I had a sit down with Coach Huss yesterday. And so that is airing on KTV at 10 o'clock tomorrow night. And he is just awesome. I mean, the way, like we probably chatted for about a half hour, and the way in which he breaks down this roster and talks about all of these guys is just so fascinating because he could really give like quicker answers, especially when we kind of touched on like 3 guys at a time here, 3 returners here, but he goes in depth on every single player, and he's talking about strengths. He's talking about what he wants to see them improve on. And he's like, he can be hard with like very blunt with his answers, which is really cool. And in terms of like what went wrong last year, he's very vocal that there was a lack of competitive fire that this team is hopefully going to have more of this year and what he's trying to pull out of them. So I'm really excited about that conversation. But he was funny. Like I have met him a few times, but never in a one-on-one session. And I made the grave error of telling him I was from Kansas City. Coach Huss is from real Kansas City. He's from North Kansas City. I am from Overland Park. I will never, ever make that mistake again.
You got taken to task for that?
Awesome. What'd you say?
You got taken to task for claiming Kansas City out of Overland
So you're
Park?
not from Kansas City.
He is like, you are not from Kansas City. Very straight faced. So yeah, I got.
I'll say this, Lauren. Coach Huss has got to learn. I mean, things have changed. Kansas City has grown and expanded, and I'd say Overland Park is a part of Kansas City.
Well, he does not think that, and I do not think we're going to change his mind, and that's okay.
It doesn't strike me as a coach that changes his mind very easily.
Yeah, that's a good thing, though.
Oh my gosh! So yeah, that airs tomorrow night. But other than that, I think right now, just because I talked with Andy and Bergen yesterday, I'm very intrigued about this Nebraska volleyball season and what roles could look like. I think people should keep an eye on the middle blocker position because I know Andy Jackson is incredible and very well could keep that starting spot. But I also would not be surprised if Manaya Obeche and Kenna Coggill fight for that spot, and maybe Andy may come off the bench a few times this season.
That's
it's
crazy.
going to be that difficult of a choice this year for Danny and for the staff.
You cover the volleyball team. You covered it last year when they're on their amazing run all the way up until the Texas A&M game. You said you just talked with Bergen and Andy. Do you get the sense that they, like, when you talk with them, do you think that they feel the sort of unique pressure that is, if you don't win a national championship in this position, your season's considered a failure? Like, it's so rare to only have that as the only thing that truly stands out, because they've accomplished everything else. They've won the Big Ten the last 3 years. They had an undefeated regular season. They had a set streak where they hadn't lost a set, for so long at points last year. All that's left is this elusive title. Do you sense pressure on them when they're talking with you, or when you have those interviews last year, or how do you feel like they've handled all of that?
Yeah, there's absolutely a sense of pressure. They had that pressure last year too. And I mean, I don't envy the position they're in. I mean, they're in a great position, just what it means to be a Nebraska volleyball player, and everything they've gotten out of it is incredible. But yeah, the expectations for this team and really for this senior class is to win a national championship. It's hard to imagine a world in which Harper Murray, Andy Jackson, Bergen Riley, and Lainey Choboy don't leave their careers at Nebraska with a national title. But, we don't know what's going to happen. And when you look at how much we thought last year could have been the year and everything that went wrong in that Texas A&M match, like, they are humans, they are breakable. And I asked Andy yesterday how often she thinks about that Texas A&M match, because that was, without a doubt, her worst match of the entire season and was very uncharacteristic. And Texas A&M significantly showed some of the weaknesses that Andy has as a blocker that I'm sure she's working on right now. And she's like, yeah, we think about it all the time. I think about it all the time. But the reality is, like, if we spend all our time thinking about the past and worrying about the fact that we do want to win a national championship, like, that's going to get in the way of everything we have to do to get there. And they're right. You got to stay kind of laser focused on one thing at a time. The Big Ten's always going to be difficult, even if Nebraska seems to be invincible. And when you do have a setter like Bergen Riley, who I think is the best player in the country, and then you add in 5 for 5.
Yeah.
And they're being asked constantly. I mean, we asked yesterday. Andy didn't have a comment. Bergen gave a little bit more information. Like, will they play a 5th year? Who knows? No one's going to let us know. No one's going to tell us. What I will say is that I think Bergen especially, and I think, many of them would love to be in LA at the Olympics in 2028. So whatever path could best get them there will probably be what we see them doing. But yeah, it's tough right now. The spotlight's even heavier. People want to know what they're doing. You throw in the Olympics being right around the corner. Like, there's a lot of pressure on this team for multiple reasons.
If you're Danny Busboom Kelly, what are you thinking? Because it's everyone always uses it from the player standpoint. What do they want to do, and how much can they get paid, and all that stuff. I imagine if you're Danny Busboom Kelly, like, you do at a certain point, you obviously you love to have those players back because they're awesome, but you do want to get things churning as far as your roster and
for life after them
in your program. And, you have a freshman class, whether it's this one or the next one that is affected by all of these different things. I don't know. I would imagine for as talented as they always are, that they would want to keep things moving a little bit, but I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't envy that position. Like Danny's got a tough role of trying to figure out how to handle that. How do you recruit? It's weird because, like, if let's say those 4, which I doubt they all come back, but we don't know anything. If they all return, you're having to like kick women off the team, basically. Not exactly, but like your roster's full. Like they have their classes set, and then you look at a situation like Campbell Flynn backing up Bergen Riley, who like probably is chomping at the bit to play and knows her time is coming. But if Bergen were to return for another year, what does a player like that do? What types of conversations do you have with Campbell, who then would go 3 seasons without playing? So it's very difficult situations. I don't know how I'd love to catch up with her and ask how she's even going to begin to address some of these things. But she's smart. It's unprecedented times, but it's also nothing new. Things have been changing the last couple of years, and they're going to figure it out. But I do know she still very much so wants to recruit at the high school level while also trying to find that balance of attacking the transfer portal. But you also need to remember, like, you can't lose these players that are younger and may even be able to start on a Wisconsin, maybe not Wisconsin, but on a different Big Ten team. But you want to keep them in-house too. So it's a tough balance for sure.
Lauren, when do you start thinking about Nebraska football? I mean, considering everything that goes on with your job and all the different events that you cover, and then you sort of talked about this as a kind of time period where there's stories you want to do, you kind of go out and you seek it. Football is looming just around the corner. Media days 2 weeks from like tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Connor.
I'm not going, so it's fine.
No, I know you're not going, but it still scared you, I think, a little bit.
It freaked me out.
Yeah. So when do you start thinking about football?
Yeah, well, we're thinking about it right now because, like you just said, media day's 2 weeks away. We're already having meetings for coverage plans, and we have a preseason special airing the week before the first game. And we already booked the Iowa special. Like, that's how far in advance we're thinking about things, which is wild. So yeah, it's already on our minds. It's kind of like you're kind of getting to the point where we've been talking about things in hypotheticals pretty much for so long that it's just, I'm chomping at the bit to just get out and watch fall camp and actually see some things and talk to this team. I'm happy to soak in a little bit more of the slow time, but it's here, and we're certainly preparing for everything that's to come.
Definitely starting to get the itch, no doubt about it. Lauren Michelson from KETV. All right, Lauren, great to talk to you as always, and we'll do it again sometime. Hopefully next week, maybe.
Hopefully, I'm sure next week. Thank you guys so much.
Lauren Michelson from KETV. Exciting. We got the itch. There's a cool meme that's going around. Summer is great, but I have an itch. That's what the kids are doing these days. Just to tell you about what the kids are doing.
I appreciate that because I wouldn't really discover it on my own. I was going to until I asked the football thing, I was going back and forth on this. I was tempted to ask Lauren her thoughts on daylight savings time. Just to see what she would say, and then more or less how you would react to it.
Fascinating. Yeah, I wonder.
At least it happens
At
least it happens on a Sunday, not on a Monday.
Yeah,
At least it happens on Sunday. Why?
I'm trying to process. I keep forgetting today's Wednesday.
Okay.
I'm trying to thinking of her having to get up early for a guest appearance on the radio show,
I see.
That kind of thing.
I see.
On the morning
Joey
show.
already scheduling Lauren's fake future in a world where we don't have daylight savings time.
Joey adding more stuff for the accountability.
Yes.
Yes. It's great. Speaking of accountability, I've just seen a tweet from our fearless leader at producer_Josh.
I saw the same tweet and I had questions.
It's one of the biggest big red overreactions of the year, and the hosts are set. Who will they be? Josh has now teased 2 separate official, like he has 2 big red overreactions set. Apparently the draft is dead. 2 big red overreactions are set, but he has yet to disseminate the information either to the hosts or to the public.
I think I need to release a prediction before he announces it because I pitched the idea. I gotta make a.
So Joey, one thing I appreciate you is when you do your leaks, the Joey leaks, like you're on a tight schedule. It's 9:00. The leak's coming out until leading into the next whatever. Like, when are we getting the actual information? Right?
I don't know.
And when are we getting the next leak?
I know this. I will be involved in at least one of these two.
Good luck with that, Dan.
I'm predicting that
You're not involved in the Black Friday at all.
I believe I'm dead on Black Friday.
So basically, John Bishop's out too.
So yeah, chances
and
are.
Matt is likely in Chicago.
Okay, so it's you and Josh.
And Josh doesn't want to work any big red overreactions.
Well, it's you and Josh then.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Josh and I.
Or Matt from Chicago.
Or Matt from that. That actually,
Matt
sounds,
with the
that sounds awful.
With the glare lighting from his first time with John after the pinstripe.
Joey's stressed out just thinking about
it's
it.
giving me PTSD.
No, I've done Matt. Matt has come on for other stuff that I've done in the past from Chicago, so I'm familiar.
I just want to see that koozie on top of that microphone again. I want to see the koozie on top of the microphone.
That's a good muff.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone. Joey, not to step on your shoes, but I do have an idea for just a very short, quick open to this segment that I think we're going to be doing every day. It's called accountability.
Yeah, I was starting to think about that.
I got one for you. It'll take care of it. I could do it probably today.
Okay,
that
works.
It won't take me very long.
I love it.
Accountability.
Thinking you could just do a blooper reel of me trying to say CFTC.
Can you send me the tapes?
yes, I can.
It was so bad.
The Schaefer files.
Oh my god!
Editing those was quite something.
I'd be curious how much you would have thought of it if I hadn't told you exactly where the stumble point was. So then you're like,
oh
locked into it.
Yeah, like you'll hear. I think I heard for today's read was in it, and then I think the one for tomorrow.
Yeah,
but I was editing those in my office, and Nick is obviously in there, and I'm just playing it over and over again. We're just laughing.
It wasn't good. It was not good.
I'll share that.
So is that your accountability today?
That's my accountability for every day that it runs.
Okay. My accountability is I called the claret jug the crystal chalice.
I still think the crystal chalice is a cool name.
I still think it's better than the claret jug.
No, it's not better.
It doesn't take away the fact that it was wrong. It was, I got it wrong. It was the claret jug, not the crystal chalice. No matter if it's cooler or not, it's wrong. That's my accountability for today.
My accountability is building up for my special moment today, which isn't happening. Hooray! No jury duty for this guy.
Is that accountability or is that?
Well, just stressing.
Accountability would have been you doing it and becoming foreman and then telling us everything.
Well, not being at the courthouse asking questions about the whole daylight savings saga that we're currently in.
Maybe that's the trial. The trial related to daylight savings time.
Asking if the crime took place during the day or during the evening.
Do you think Joey would be an effective juror? No.
So I've talked to you guys about this. I don't think either one of you have watched the show on Amazon, the Jury Duty show. I think Joey actually would have been a perfect person in that scenario where he would have just been like, "What the hell is going on? This is so weird."
Oh, like the subject,
being the guy who's
getting pranked,
unaware that everything else around him is being faked. Joey's reactions to all of it would have been amazing.
Interesting.
Truly.
Interesting.
Because he would have sat there kind of quietly, but just sort of the looking at what was happening in that show. I think Joey could have really
I was told to watch that.
You should.
John writes in, "It's okay, Connor. Nick once called the steel curtain the iron wall." I remember that one. It's a good one. It's a good one.
Gorbachev is the architect of this
Mr.
defense.
Gorbabov. All right. So if you guys have any accountabilities that you think of throughout the show, you could send them our way. Or if you would like to take some accountability of your own crap that you got going on, please let us know.
Or if other hosts say things that need to have
accountability
held accountable for being in the same, environment as them, we'll take on that role too.
Another good point. I have some accountability for Mr. Pickle. Mr. Pickle, remember the tight shirt on 3 guy?
Yeah, I was the guy. Here's some accountability. I didn't realize he played college football and was shocked.
That's true.
Actually, to find that out because I thought he was super short.
Mr. Pickle is doing record predictions, and here he is. If you're watching along with us on YouTube, he says, accountability, I got him an unflattering face right there. But he says Nebraska's going 8-4.
That's the face of a guy saying 8-4.
Last year, he said Nebraska was going to go 9-3, accountability.
Okay, so you take 2 wins off 6-6?
It seems like that is at least a pretty good start. He has a long history of predicting positive things for Matt Rule.
So
interesting because he played for him.
I'm always fascinated when you have the people that do this and he's doing predictions for every team or a large number of teams. Does he make sure that the maths at the end of it?
Great question. I don't know. Will he pick Iowa to beat Nebraska in Iowa's prediction? I don't know.
One of the funniest things when you go through some of the people who do predictions and they don't actually do that, and there's no way that it can math out the way that they claim it's going to.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy that.
Me too.
I really do.
And that's why we have accountability.
Absolutely.
So speaking of accountability, 2022, he said Nebraska would be bowl eligible by Halloween. All right. That did not happen for a variety of reasons. JD Pickle in 2023 in late October says what Matt Rule is doing in Nebraska right now is electric, but the ripple effect on the recruiting trail is the potential game changer. I don't know what that means. Also,
they put together a good 24 class, so fine.
2020, let's see. Oh, last August, this Nebraska offense is that kid in middle school who comes back from summer vacation with a mustache and is now 6'4".
Okay. More like it came back with the mustache and his Bobby Valentine.
It's just for fake the entire time.
It's the 2024 offense.
This is April of 25. Don't think Nebraska would consider themselves back after ending the bowl drought last year, but there's a lot of potential to make some real noise in 2025 past the Rule Aid. Then he says, death taxes, Matt Rule year 3. I've got Nebraska going 9-3.
Okay.
Mr. Pickle. That is accountability. We bring the accountability to everybody. And there he is, 8-4. So I just want to print those out and make them into posters and put them on the wall.
Do you think he styles his hair to sit exactly like that too?
I don't know. I think he gets tighter shirts too, but somehow
you can only be on YouTube if you wear super tight shirts.
Apparently that is the case. I have more JD Pickle accountability, but we'll leave him alone, I guess, at this point. All right. That's going to do it for us today. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The Crossover with Matt Josh is coming up next.